I was reborn as a divine Tauti egg, a mythical beast capable of devouring everything.
I thought the day I hatched would be the moment I devoured heaven and earth.
But the second my Beastmaster laid eyes on me, she decided to send me straight to the afterlife.
Why? Because a baby Tauti looks exactly like a common mutt.
To make matters worse, I didn't have a single trace of divine power in me.
Right at this life or death moment, I activated the god-level Tauti devouring system.
As long as I devour everything in existence, I can evolve endlessly. But right now, Lin Qingshu is chasing me all over the room with a sword, trying to hack me to pieces. I can only rely on my stubby little legs to dodge her, scrambling under the table and squeezing through the couch cushions.
Seriously? This woman is a total psychopath.
Every single slash is aimed right at my neck.
Is it my fault I look like a mutt?
I'm a divine Tauti beast. With a system for crying out loud.
Sure, I'm a bit weak in the beginning.
But couldn't she just give me a few days to level up? While dodging her attacks, I overheard a shocking secret from her angry curses. It turns out, she's a regressed powerhouse who was reborn in her past life, relying on her insane talent. She actually managed to train a low-level common snake into a 4-star azure wood earth dragon.
She's in rust to become the Empress of the human race.
But at the crucial moment of her breakthrough to godhood, her dragon's weak foundation failed her.
It couldn't withstand the divine tribulation lightning at all.
In the end, the lightning blasted Lin Qingshu's soul to pieces, forcing her to be reborn.
That's why in this life, she spent every last penny of her savings to buy me a supposedly god-level Tauti egg.
But who would have guessed she'd hatch a pathetic mutt like me? What a disastrous start.
Lin Qingshu completely lost her mind. Overwhelmed with rage, she wanted to slaughter me on the spot.
And then go contract an unhatched common snake egg instead.
Once I figured out her little scheme, brilliant plan to save my life instantly flashed through my mind.
Dodging her swinging sword, I leaped through the air and landed right on the table.
I opened my jaws and swallowed that common snake egg whole.
Seeing this, Lin Qingshu completely broke down.
You see, a beast tamer can only contract one beast egg in their entire lifetime.
If they're dirt poor and can't afford one, they have to settle for the mystery box beast eggs handed out by the school. But now, I've eaten her only backup egg.
This means Lin Qingshu has absolutely no other choice
but to accept me, this worthless mutt.
Even if she wishes she could skin me alive right now,
she can't actually kill me anymore.
After all, in a world where everyone is a beast tamer, being someone without a beast companion means you can't survive at all.
At the same time, I finished digesting that snake egg.
Dang! Congratulations, host, on successfully devouring the rat snake egg.
System detects this is the host first devour,
rewarding you with 1 starter gift pack.
Stomach of Tauti, level 2. Your stomach can now hold 10 cubic meters of food, and you can digest everything to nourish yourself. Unshakable strength, level 1. Temporarily boosts all attributes by 10%. Damage reduction, level 1. Can swallow all physical and mental attacks directed at you.
Recurrent damage reduction is 1%. Size manipulation, level 1. The host can consume energy
to freely expand or shrink your body up to 2 times its size. Hearing the system's explanation, I was absolutely thrilled.
I never imagined that swallowing just one tiny snake egg
would not only save my little life,
but also completely gross out that crazy woman.
And on top of that, I got all these incredibly powerful skills for free.
Talk about an absolute jackpot.
Meanwhile, seeing that the damage was already done, Lin Qingshu could only grit her teeth and accept reality.
With only 7 days left before the mock joint exam,
she had to rely on her training experience as a former empress. She immediately decided to head to school to ask for a leave of absence,
and then drag me into the most dangerous place in Yinjiang City, the Qingwan Forest.
She wanted to use a tier 4 demon beast from the forest to replace my bloodline. As a reincarnator, she knew better than anyone that the Earth-grade starstone would also appear in that very forest.
With that in mind,
Lin Qingshu whipped her head around and snapped at me.
"You stupid dog!
Stay tuned at home and wait for me to get back," leaving me with those words. Lin Qingshu stormed out of the house without even looking back.
The moment she left, my newly acquired stomach of Tauti started growling with an unbearable, ravenous hunger.
And remembering that my stomach could digest absolutely anything, I decided not to hold back at all.
I immediately devoured every single piece of food in Lin Qingshu's house.
And I didn't even spare her bed or the furniture.
Just as I was getting half full, a system notification chimed in. "Congratulations, host, on successfully devouring various furniture.
Rewarding you with the skill, Supernatural Scent, level 1. You can now sense all items within 100 meters through their scent."
As the new skill loaded,
I instantly caught an absolutely irresistible exotic scent drifting from the neighbor's windowsill.
Without a second thought, I stealthily leaped from our balcony over to the next door. Very quickly, I spotted a glowing little herb growing on their balcony.
And the system informed me that this weed was actually a low-grade spirit herb.
If I swallowed it, I'd definitely rake in a massive amount of evolution points.
Of course, doing this would definitely bring Lin Qingshu a world of trouble.
But the moment I recalled how fiercely that crazy woman had tried to kill me earlier, just like that, all my guilt vanished.
I opened my mouth wide and swallowed the low-grade spiritual herb in one gulp.
Meanwhile, the owner of the house was busy taking a shower in the bathroom.
So I figured, why stop there? I went all out and devoured every single piece of furniture in his living room. Besides, Lin Qingshu is going to foot the bill anyway.
What did I have to be afraid of?
It didn't take long for the guy in the shower to hear the massive racket of his house being trashed.
He rushed out of the bathroom, dripping wet and completely frantic. But I was already gone, leaping right back through the window into Lin Qingshu's apartment. The poor guy was absolutely furious, pounding on Lin Qingshu's front door like crazy. As for me, I was stuffed, lying lazily on the floor, happily listening to the sweet sound of the system notifications. Ding! Congratulations, host, on devouring a low-grade spirit-gathering grass and various furniture. Reward: Strength +6, Mental Power +2, Purification value +4. Current status: Host is only 8 purification points away from evolving from a nameless beast into a devouring beast. Please keep devouring, host. Right at that moment, Lin Qingshu, who had just returned from school after asking for a day off, arrived at her doorstep. She was immediately cornered by her absolutely fuming neighbor. After a chaotic round of arguing and bargaining, Lin Qingshu had to hold back her tears and pay him 10,000 yuan just to settle the matter. But when she finally stepped inside her own apartment and saw it was completely empty too, she was so furious her vision went black, and she nearly fainted right there on the spot. She felt so incredibly frustrated and defeated. She desperately wanted to skin this dumb, gluttonous mutt alive. But she couldn't bring herself to do it. This was the beast she contracted with, after all. Even if she had to cry herself to sleep, she had to keep raising it. Seeing her on the verge of a mental breakdown made me happier than if I had eaten 10,086 pounds of prime meat. And so the two of us spent a miserable night roughing it on the bare floor. The next day, Lin Qingshu brought me with her to the Qingwen forest. The moment we stepped into the woods, I shot forward like an arrow released from a bow. My nose had picked up a scent. 50 meters away, a bunch of wild rabbits were happily munching on grass. Starving after a night with no dinner, I dove headfirst into the bushes. In just 2.5 seconds, I devoured every single rabbit. This completely blew Lin Qingshu's mind. You see, with her current cultivation level as a martial artist, she could only sense things within 20 to 30 meters. Yet I, her dumb mutt, could easily sense things 50 meters away. Drawing on her experiences as an empress in her past life, she instantly concluded that this had to be my innate talent. This proved that my body harbored an incredibly powerful bloodline that was yet to be awakened. At that thought, all of Ling Xiu's annoyance and disgust toward me vanished in an instant. She rushed over and pulled me into a tight embrace. "Oh, you silly mutt!" she cried out, her voice trembling with excitement. "I finally see a glimmer of hope. Heavens didn't let me down after all." Right at that moment, the system's chime rang in my ear. Ding! Host affection rating with Lin Qingshu has increased to positive 20%. Devour all talent. 20% unlocked. Well, that was a pleasant surprise. Who would have thought getting on this crazy woman's good side could actually upgrade my skills to win her over even more? I immediately activated my size manipulation skill. Instantly, my body doubled in size. Then, with a whoosh, I shrank down to the size of a tiny ant. This little stunt left Lin Qingshu completely dumbfounded once again. Meanwhile, our affection rating and my devour all talent both shot up to 30%. This meant the energy I got from devouring things would be much higher than before. Just as Lin Qingshu was beaming with joy, a faint rustle came from a tree about 10 meters ahead. Bei Tingshu's eyes instantly went sharp. Drawing her dagger, she whispered to me, "Silly dog. Once I kill that wood-spotted snake, I'll buy you some nice meat later." With that, she crept straight toward the tree. Following her gaze, I spotted a large snake coiled on the trunk, its scales perfectly camouflaged with the bark. In no time, Lin Qingshu chopped the wood-spotted snake in half. I had to admit, I know, this woman was actually pretty sharp and agile. But just as she was about to skin it, I lunged forward in a blur and swallowed the 2 halves of the snake whole. Standing nearby, Lin Qingshu immediately hissed, "You silly dog! If you want to eat, fine, but at least leave me the skin to sell. I just had to pay 10,000 yuan because of you yesterday. I only have a few dozen yuan left. Do you know that?" As soon as I gulped down the snake meat, the system chimed. Ding! Congratulations, host, on devouring the wood-spotted snake. Strength +5, defense +3, evolution points +8. Host is now ready to evolve into a devour beast. Note, during evolution, the host will enter a deep sleep for 5 minutes. Would you like to begin evolution immediately? Hearing this, I thought to myself, well, there's no danger around anyway. So, I decisively chose to begin the evolution. As the evolution process started, I collapsed right onto the ground and fell into a deep sleep. At that moment, Lin Qingshu immediately sensed the strange surge of energy inside me through our contract. She rushed over, scooped me up, and checked me over thoroughly. But when she saw a familiar surge of vital energy swirling inside me, she realized with absolute certainty that I was evolving. At that thought, a look of profound shock flashed through Lin Qingshu's beautiful eyes. For a beast to evolve on its own without consuming any special potions?
meant its bloodline had to be incredibly rare and powerful.
Right then, Ling Qingshu realized I was no ordinary stray dog. Instead, I was a legendary, powerful divine beast. Just like that, 5 minutes later, my evolution was complete.
Compared to before, my body was a notch bigger, and all of my skills had leveled up to level 2.
Most importantly, my mental strength was now strong enough for Ling Qingshu to sense me in her mind.
I could actually send her basic thoughts.
So, I immediately let her know that I was absolutely starving. Ling Qingshu didn't look at me with disgust anymore.
Instead, she quickly took out a Tier 1 beginner blood earth rat nearby and fed the meat to me, piece by piece.
But after gulping down the meat, I noticed my evolution points had only gone up by 7. Yet, I needed a whole 100 points for my next evolution. At this rate,
even eating 8 meals a day wouldn't be enough.
When Ling Qingshu picked up on my thought, her face instantly went pale. She muttered to herself, wondering what kind of monster she had actually adopted.
8 meals a day and it's still not enough?
How on earth was she supposed to afford feeding me? But right as she was mentally screaming in despair,
a group of over 20 people came marching straight toward us.
Ling Qingshu recognized them instantly. They were City Lord Zhao Tianlan's personal guard. Not wanting any trouble, so kitten, she turned around, planning to slip away.
But the guard at the front spotted her and called out, stopping her in her tracks.
He questioned her. Miss, have you seen a young girl around 17 or 18? Ling Qingshu immediately shook her head, claiming she hadn't seen anyone. The guard then warned her that if she did see this girl, she must report it to the City Lord's estate immediately. He promised a handsome reward for any information. At that, the guards hurried off. Standing beside her, I listened to their exchange and wondered if the City Lord's daughter had somehow gone missing. And instantly remember her past life. How City Lord Zhao Tianlan's daughter, Zhao Xing, was kidnapped and robbed by an organization called the Langya Squad. And how those bastards eventually had vile designs on her. Once they were done, they dumped Zhao Xin's body out in the middle of nowhere. But once Zhao Tianlan uncovered the truth, he slaughtered every single member of the Langya Squad without mercy. He even hung their corpses from the city walls of Linjiang for a solid half-month. Thinking of this, Ling Qingshu fell deep into thought. She figured that if she saved Zhao Xing now, she could use the opportunity to extort some rewards from Zhao Tianlan.
After all, she knew Zhao Tianlan possessed a secret treasury,
which hid several incredibly valuable treasures. But the leader of the Langya Squad, Lin Leng, was a peak Tier 2 martial artist. That kind of power was way beyond what she could handle right now. When I sensed the Ling Qingshu's thoughts, I couldn't help but curse in my head.
What? This stupid woman?
Your #1 priority right now is to find me meat to eat. The more the better.
Otherwise, with your current rookie level, trying to save someone is just a suicide mission.
If you're really itching to die, do not drag me down with you.
Hearing this,
Ling Qingshu grit her teeth in pure rage. How on earth was this her contracted beast? This was clearly her living ancestor. But despite her boiling anger, Ling Qingshu had to admit my words made total sense. So she stopped overthinking and obediently went back to hunting demon beasts to fill my stomach. Over the next while, Ling Qingshu managed to hunt down 2 Tier 1 shadow cats and 9 Tier 1 long-eared rabbits. But all that meat combined wasn't even enough to get stuck in my teeth.
I even had to swallow 2 large rocks just to feel a tiny bit full.
Standing nearby, Ling Qingshu could only sigh in sheer helplessness at my bottomless pit of an appetite. Am I, a majestic former Empress reborn in this world, doomed to spend my days fetching food for this dumb mutt? But right now, I had no time for Ling Qingshu's complaining. Because just a moment ago, a scent wafted from a nearby cave. An aroma so unbelievably tempting, I couldn't resist it. With one leap, I dashed toward the cave, leaving a swearing Ling Qingshu to scramble after me. Soon, we reached the deepest part of the cave. Right ahead of us was a pool over 10 meters wide. In the water swam dozens of fish covered in fiery red scales. Even the water itself carried a crisp, sweet fragrance. This was definitely no ordinary pool. Without another thought, I lay by the edge and started chugging the water down furiously.
I almost leaped in the air with excitement.
I only drank dozens of liters of pool water,
and it actually gave me 1 point of defense and 1 point of spirit.
With this much water in the pool,
if I drank it all, wouldn't my stats absolutely skyrocket?
Driven by greed, I kept gulping it down.
Just then, Ling Qingshu caught up and stared at the scene in utter shock.
My pupils shrank in shock. It was a spiritual spring containing trace amounts of earth heart milk, and there were actually more than a dozen dragon blood fish inside. Earth heart milk is a top-tier spiritual medicine of the yellow rank. Not only can it strengthen the body, but it also boosts mental power.
As for the dragon blood fish, they're a rare breed of monster beast.
Legend has it that they carry actual dragon blood in their veins. Eating them can massively boost your vitality. The only thing that puzzled her was that dragon blood fish are only supposed to appear inside secret realms. Suddenly, a wild idea popped into Ling Qingshu's mind.
There is a very high chance that an entrance to a secret realm is right here.
And maybe an untouched,
undiscovered one at that.
An untapped secret realm would be packed with resources.
With those resources, she could level up at lightning speed.
And afterward,
She could sell the coordinates of the realm to the city lord's estate.
That way, she'd get a massive reward on top of everything else. Talk about maximizing profits. But even if it's just a low-tier secret realm, there are still plenty of rank 2 and rank 3 dangers inside. She would need to become at least a rank 2 warrior and prepare thoroughly before venturing in.
Otherwise, she wouldn't even be able to guarantee her own survival.
Suppressing her excitement,
She jumped straight into the spiritual spring. She circulated her cultivation technique to absorb the trace amounts of earth heart milk. Feeling my own attribute growth slowing down, I grumbled in my heart. She doesn't even know how to share with a baby.
my human is way too selfish.
I don't have some fancy cultivation technique to cheat and work overtime.
No way. I have to fight for it.
Gritting my teeth,
I spent 10 purification points to upgrade my taste of gluttony skill, boosting my digestion speed by 50%.
Then, I plunged my head straight into the pool and started guzzling like crazy.
Meanwhile, as Ling Qingshou's vitality surged,
A satisfied smile slowly spread across her face.
she glanced over at me.
And almost completely lost her poker face.
My little black head was buried deep in the water.
Drinking so fast, it literally created a mini whirlpool.
If that was all, it wouldn't have left her so utterly dumbfounded.
But she realized that my physical strength and mental power were already nearing the level of a ranked monster beast.
I pulled my head out of the water to gasp for fresh air. Man, I almost suffocated myself. I patted my little belly with satisfaction. I honestly can't eat another bite. I just have to wait for it to digest.
Once the earth heart spirit milk was thoroughly absorbed, Ling Qingshu scooped me up and carried me out. The entrance to the secret realm couldn't be exposed.
If I drained every last drop of it, it would likely destabilize the portal itself.
Right now, this secret realm was crucial for Ling Qingsu's cultivation. There was absolutely no room for error.
I patted my little belly, feeling a bit annoyed.
Poop Scooper, you're so stingy.
Why don't you go catch me some fish to snack on?
My mental power had already reached 150 points.
At this level, I could easily communicate with Lin Qingshu telepathically. Hearing that childish, demanding voice ring in her mind,
梅婷婷说非常张肯. You should be calling me master or tamer. What on earth is a poop scooper?
wiggled my little paws. Hey, my life is literally bound to yours. It's not like I can just die.
We are on completely equal footing here.
We're both bosses. If you show me some respect right now,
I might just look out for you in the future. Ling Qingshu let out a cold laugh.
A lock of mental energy surged from between her brows. It was just a simple mental technique, but it was more than enough to muzzle me. Feeling my mouth suddenly sealed shut, I instantly panicked. If I couldn't open my mouth, I was doomed. No food meant no growing up, and absolutely no leveling up. Hurry up and undo this, please. I was wrong, all right? I'm sorry.
I begged desperately.
Ling Qingshu curled her lips, her eyes flashing with amusement. You're right.
We are equals, with no master or servant between us. You can call me by my name, but Poop Scooper is absolutely out of the question. I rubbed my mouth and conceded in a hurry. Fine, fine. From now on, I'll call you Little Shisui, and you can call me Little Han.
But you have to keep me well fed.
That ain't crazy. Just 20 simple meals a day will do.
Hearing this, Lin Qingshu's face instantly darkened.
20 meals?
Even if she sold herself, she wouldn't have enough money to buy me food. I can eat several of them in a single sitting, you know? A single tier 1, early stage demon beast carcass was worth tens of thousands. That added up to nearly $1 million a day. How can she possibly afford to feed me at this rate? No way. That is way too much. I need a massive amount of resources for my own cultivation, too. I patted my little butt and patted over to Lin Qingshu's feet with my 4 tiny paws.
Oh, come on, little Shay.
You of all people should be able to see my high intelligence and my extraordinary potential. I can tell you right now. I can evolve my own bloodline. There's no need for you to provide any of those expensive purification potions.
High-grade food is simply a necessity.
Ling Qingshu's heart began to food violently.
Yet she didn't say a word.
Deep in thought, her eyes narrowed. When do you think you can undergo your second evolution?
Just let me eat 15 more tier 1, early stage demon beasts, and that'll be enough.
Qingshu's eyes flared with determination. All right.
I'll gather 15 tier 1, early stage demon beasts for you as soon as possible. At this moment, she finally believed in the arrangement of heaven. Having been reborn, her destiny had already been successfully rewritten.
She refused to end up at some bottom-tier martial arts academy like in her past life. In this lifetime, her starting point was already infinitely higher.
The secret realm right in front of her was just the beginning, and if she could just obtain that legendary star, she would completely soar to unimaginable heights. And with her greatest wildcard in this lifetime. Even when she reached the absolute peak of power in her past life, she had never heard of a demon beast that possessed power rivaling a divine dragon,
while simultaneously wielding a devouring talent.
Was this a shift in her destiny? Or had a new gear of fate started turning?
It didn't matter. What mattered was that, from beginning to end, I belonged to Lin Qingshu. Lin Qingshu's affection level has increased by 10%.
Hearing this system, I stiffened up and nearly leaped straight into the air. My Devour of all things talent has reached 40% activation. Now, the conversion rate of everything I eat is increased to 40%.
I'm not far from 100% absorption now.
Ah, sis, you finally believe me.
Let's max out our affection level as fast as we can. Hearing this, the calm expression Lin Qingsu had just regained instantly began to crack.
Don't you dare call me that.
Lin Qingsu was about to explode with rage.
We've only been contracted for 2 days, and I've already given her 3 nicknames. Poop Scooper,
Little Shusu, and now she's calling me Laodi. This damn talkative beast.
I scratched the 2 sparse stray hairs on top of my head.
Feeling a bit deflated. Angering my poop scooper never ends well, so I better just play along with her.
All right, little Susu. Don't starve yourself.
Hurry up and catch all those fish.
Lin Qingsu gritted her teeth in frustration. Right now, raising her strength was the absolute priority. Everything else was trivial. She leaped straight into the pool.
The icy spring water drenching her dress.
At this sight, I couldn't help but gulp.
Even though we weren't the same species, that didn't stop me from indulging in my appreciation of beauty.
Oh, my dear Empress, don't block the view. Your assets are only assets if you show them off.
If you hide like that, you're not treating me like family.
I watched with absolute relish, while Lin Qingsu's ears burned hot with embarrassment.
For a second, she really wanted to slaughter me, just to see if heaven would let her reincarnate one more time.
If she had another chance, she would absolutely never choose a little pervert like me. Lin Qingsu intimacy decreased by 10%.
Current intimacy is 30%. Devour of all things talent activated 30%. I gave myself a hard slap across the face. What a big mouth I have! All that intimacy I worked so hard to build up is gone. It took over an hour. But Lin Qingsu finally managed to catch all 11 dragon blood fish from the pool.
Seeing this, I lunged forward headfirst,
rushing over.
Today I absolutely must break through to the rank 1 monster beast level. Lin Qingsu circulated her blood energy to dry the water on her body, then reached out her fair hand and grabbed me.
I told you I would give you enough monster carcasses, but not these.
I must reach the late stage of rank 1 martial artist as soon as possible to secure more resources in the mock joint exams.
I need to use these dragon blood fish first.
I squirmed my tiny body in protest.
Protesting is useless. I understand this world far better than you do. Only by getting into a top martial arts university.
Can we rely on a bigger platform to grow? It's far too difficult to be a lone wolf in this world.
Hunt thieving beasts ourselves to earn resources.
Then, do you have any idea how many resources a martial artist needs to go from tier 1 to tier 9?
A massive amount, I muttered, drooping my head, looking completely deflated.
Boss, you don't love me anymore.
You don't even care about your precious baby.
Lin Qingsu tossed the last demon beast in her bag, a carrot rabbit, over to me.
We share a life-bound contract, she said. Don't think I'm being selfish. This is the best choice to maximize our benefits.
In the future, you'll get a share of all my resources. I swallowed the Chera rabbit in one big gulp. Dean! Consumed a tier 1 early stage Chera rabbit. Digestion is estimated to take 15 minutes. Well, I'm not an unreasonable beast either.
All in all, my master treats me pretty well.
At least, she gives me everything she possibly can.
Fine.
I thought about it.
But you have to give me the parts of the dragon blood fish that you don't eat.
You definitely won't like the head and the tail. Don't let them go to waste.
For the first time in ages, Lin Qingsu let out a soft smile.
It was as flawless as a snow lotus blooming on an altar of ice. For a moment, I was completely mesmerized. Boss is actually quite a beauty. I stuck out my tongue and gave her calf a quick lick. Keep it safe, I thought. This is Lord Beast's love for you. With a look of disgust, Lin Qingsu wiped the drool off her calf.
She had already gotten used to my shamelessness.
She didn't even bother to scold me anymore.
Because it was useless.
You can't wake up someone who is pretending to be asleep. And besides, I was just a silly dog. Lin Qingsu gathered some dry wood and started a fire. Honestly, starting a fire in this wilderness is an unwise choice.
But demon beast meat contains baleful qi. If humans eat it directly, it will damage their minds. Roasting it over a fire purifies most of the baleful qi.
The rest can easily be suppressed with willpower.
She couldn't devour things mindlessly, like I did.
But the blood energy in beast meat was still the best resource for her to level up. Even blood qi pills, a common cultivation resource, are actually made from demon beast flesh. A tier 1 demon beast's flesh corresponds to a grade 1 blood qi pill, and so on.
Yet, a single blood qi pill cost over 10,000.
That price is simply too high for Lin Qingsu right now. I wolfed down the remains of the dragon bloodfish that Lin Qingsu had left on the ground in just a few massive bites. Ting, you have consumed a large amount of a first stage early phase blood melting fish carcass. Digestion is expected to be complete in 30 minutes.
Dang! Digestion of the first stage early phase long-eared rabbit is complete.
Strength increased by 7. Speed increased by 10. Evolution points increased by 7.
Now that my all-devouring talent's activation level has increased, the stat points I get have definitely gone up a bit.
I couldn't help but feel a bit more satisfied.
Right now, my defense and mind stats are way ahead of the rest. They are already completely on par with a first stage early phase beast. But my attack and speed are too low. It's completely unbalanced.
I need to boost them as soon as possible.
What bothers me the most
is still these evolution points. This stuff disappears way too fast. Right now, I'm putting everything into upgrading my toady stomach skill.
I haven't even upgraded any of my other skills yet, and my bloodline has only evolved once.
On top of that, I haven't even broken through to a first stage beast yet. This makes absolutely no sense.
System, my 4 basic stats should be roughly equivalent to a martial artist's vitality, right?
Why is it that even though my defense and mind have reached the standard, I'm still considered an unranked host?
The 4 basic stats only represent your physical strength. They are not directly linked to your rank.
You can think of them as influencing each other.
But they are not the same thing.
I rubbed my chin.
Does that mean even if I'm unranked, I can still have the strength to defeat ranked beasts?
Exactly.
A toady can continuously devour to boost its own strength.
An accumulation of energy will naturally raise your level, while your female lead breaks through her level barriers by absorbing blood chi energy,
thereby increasing her strength.
The essence of both paths is to gain power,
but they work differently. I increase my strength and accumulate energy, which then drives my level up.
为清秀让这个二天寒搭载一个奥布斯，徐位子和乐佛素时，他应苦实行时。
Looking at it this way,
the toady path is absolutely overpowered.
Even I'm unranked, I can use these insane stats to directly crush everyone else.
Pure raw power.
no tricks, no technique.
I love it. This is exactly how I like to fight.
2.5 hours passed.
After finishing digesting the dragon blood fish carcass, I gained another wave of stat points.
My vitality has almost reached the level of a first stage, mid-phase martial artist.
My purification points even reached 30. I'm only 70 purification points away from evolving into my next form,
The devouring beast. I'll just save up my evolution points for now.
Let's focus on upgrading my bloodline first.
She still doesn't really trust me. I've got to make her splash some serious cash on me.
Right now, Ling Xingshu is sitting right next to me, pouring all her strength into refining the energy in her body. It's burning hot, just like molten magma. It's like she's turned into a blazing furnace. Fine beads of sweat are glistening on her forehead, and her cheeks are flushed a bright rosy red. That's what happens when you have an overload of vital energy. If she doesn't refine it quickly, her body won't be able to take the strain.
This is the perfect moment to practice the myriad origins returning to one technique.
Using elemental spirits is the unique ability of this technique, but refining raw energy is where her true strength lies.
In just 2 or 3 hours,
Ling Xingshu has already completely refined the energy of the blood-melting fish. She opens her beautiful eyes,
A flash of golden light reflecting in her pupils.
her vital energy has soared to 300.
she's only 50 points away from reaching the late stage of Tier 1.
The absolute limit for a Tier 1 warrior is 500 points.
And she is already so close to that limit.
I sit here with a goofy, dazed grin on my face.
Appreciating my partner's gorgeous looks is quite the treat, you know?
Hey, little Shusui. Isn't it time to go hunt some monster beasts for yours truly?
Just 10 more Tier 1 beasts and I can finally evolve. Once I do, my sheer handsome looks will blow your mind. If my attack and speed stats weren't so pathetic, I'd be out there hunting my own food.
But for now, I still have to rely on my free bodyguard to do the heavy lifting. What can I say? The rich have to help the poor get rich too.
Let go. Len Xingshu sighs, feeling utterly hopeless inside.
She's basically living the plot of the Reborn Empress raising a silly dog in the countryside. Honestly, if she didn't have such a strong mental game, she probably would have killed me 800 times over by now. If you can't even evolve on your own, you're going to have to earn your own meals from now on. I trot along with a smug, sassy look on my face. Are you kidding me? I'm a man with a system.
Little Shusha, carry me.
I want to sit on your head while we walk. Don't worry. I promise I won't pee on you.
I eagerly trot behind her, wagging my tail.
But my 4 short legs just can't keep up. After all, my speed stat is still under 50.
Ling Xingshu is moving 5 or 6 times faster than me.
We're not even in the same league. Slowpoke. At this rate, you wouldn't even be able to get a hot meal.
Ling Qingshu tossed those words back effortlessly.
I pouted, totally annoyed.
Well, aren't you rude?
I was only born 2 days ago. It's a miracle I'm already the size of a 3-month-old puppy. Damn it. Sooner or later, I'm going to take a leak right on her head. I tried it to catch up.
But my attention was instantly grabbed by 2 people stepping out from the nearby bushes.
Their clothes were pristine without a single wrinkle.
Old bye. Perfect. You must be hungry.
Look, there's a stupid dog here. Let's roast it for dinner. The bearded man wiped away his drool.
Ahem? I was just a puppy only a few months old.
And my bloodline was complete trash, so I was the perfect choice for a meal.
Just as he said that, a beast in a cloud of yellow smoke burst out from behind me.
Its aura was around the mid to late stage of Tier 1.
This definitely wasn't something I could fight.
So the moment I saw it, I turned and bolted.
And I kept screaming for Ling Qingshu in my head.
Snowy, help! Save me! I'm going to get eaten! Hurry up and save me!
At this moment, I cursed my stubby little legs for being so slow, wishing I could just sprout a pair of wings.
The yellow rock tiger lunged straight at me. The air was thick with a ferocious, deadly aura. Clang! A silver-white alloy dagger shot through the air from a distance, forcing the yellow rock tiger to retreat.
Ling Qingshu looked coldly at Li Eryu and Ba Yaz standing before her.
You're asking for death. Hearing her voice, which was as cold as 10,000-year-old ice, the two of them only felt their hearts itch with desire. The little girl we were chasing was already beautiful enough, but I didn't expect to find an even bigger beauty here. Li Erhu's eyes were practically glued to Lin Qingshu's face. Bai Ya also had a totally perverted look on his face. He could sense that Lin Qingshu's vital energy was only around 300, and her vital energy was surging wildly, clearly showing she had just made a breakthrough. Lin Qingsu's face grew even colder. What she hated most was when people spoke to her in that tone and stared at her with those filthy brazen eyes. To her, they had already sealed their own fates. "Stay back! Don't die," he whispered softly. With that, he charged straight out, clutching his alloy short blade. Meanwhile, I was hiding behind a massive tree, wearing a total spectator smirk. Damn, my boy actually looked pretty badass just now. He really nailed that whole hero saving the damsel in distress vibe. Even I swooned for like 2 seconds. Next time you go on a dating show, I am definitely voting for you. But then, our goddess Lin Qingshu charged straight at the two men to attack. Mei Hu and Bai Ya both froze, caught off guard. But their shock instantly turned into cruel, mocking sneers. "I get her first? Don't you dare fight me for her." Little did they know Lin Qingshu had lived through 2 lifetimes, and her combat skills were absolutely god tier. Just because they had a mere 100-point lead in vital energy, how could opponents like them ever be a match for her? With her past identity as an Emperor Stage Divine Master, setting up a few spiritual arrays was a piece of cake. With just a quick hand seal, in the blink of an eye, 2 swamp arrays materialized right beneath the feet of those 2 demonic beasts. Trapped in the muck, it would take them quite a while to break free from the array's range, and this brief window of time was more than enough to deal with Li Erhu and Bai Ya. Bai Ya's eyes flickered in shock. Inside, he was utterly astonished. You're not just a martial artist, but a divine master too? How can you set up an array instantly? Setting up a spiritual array requires condensing spiritual power into individual runes and placing them in fixed positions before linking them together with your mind to finally construct a spiritual array that can affect reality. Becoming a divine master is 10 times harder than being a physical cultivator, and it relies heavily on talent. Physical cultivation is 70% effort and 30% talent, but a divine master is 30% effort and 70% pure talent. They are polar opposites, but regardless of effort or talent, both are absolutely indispensable. Bai Ya's eyes flashed with excitement. "Little girl, we can let you leave in one piece, but you must hand over your divine master cultivation technique." Hearing this, Li Erhu immediately grew displeased. "No way! I've set my eyes on her. I want the technique, and I want her too."
An adult doesn't make compromises. I want both.
Lin Tingsu's cold gaze swept over to Li Erhu. Suddenly, an incredibly condensed beam of blazing vital energy burst from her fingertip. The Blazing Sun Finger, a low-grade mysterious tier skill, was perfect for her to use right now. It consumed very little vital energy, yet its power was absolutely devastating. In the blink of an eye, the sun-hunting finger strike shot right before Li Erhu's eyes, piercing straight through his forehead.
Li Erhu collapsed, dead.
And his fate-bound divine prison beast perished along with him.
Just a single strike. Lin Qingshu had slain a martial artist a rank higher than herself. Bai Ya's eyes widened in sheer disbelief. How could she be this strong? With this thought, Bai Ya immediately surged all the vital energy in his body, shattering the muddy swamp array that trapped his life-bound beast, the Scarlet 8. If his life-bound beast died, he would die too. If they wanted to escape, they had to run together. And with his life-bound beast aiding him, his chances of survival would be much higher. But they had barely fled 100 meters before Lin Qingshu blurred into an after-image, closing in on him. "Our captain is a peak second-rank martial artist. If you kill me, you won't survive either. Besides, our captain is nearby. If you let me go, we can just go our separate ways. What do you say?"
At this point, he could only bring up the captain of the Langya squad to intimidate Lin Qingshu.
A peak second-rank martial artist's vital energy was close to 2,000. There was no way Lin Qingshu could match that. Watching the chase play out, I clicked my tongue in admiration. Her strength is actually pretty impressive. With a heavy hitter like her around, yours truly won't have to feel a thing in this early stage. But I originally wanted to avoid the Langya squad. Now, it seems there's no avoiding them. The Langya squad is currently cornering Jia Xin. They'll probably capture him soon. When that happens, it will be the end of Zhao Xin. By clashing with the Langya squad right now, Lin Qingsu is only bringing trouble upon herself. But Li Erhu and Bai Ya must die. Within a few breaths, Lin Qingsu caught up to Bai Ya. The alloy dagger in her hand shot out like a white rainbow. His back instantly spraying a fountain of blood. Bai Ya crashed into a massive tree, his face turning pale in an instant. "Don't kill me! There are so many of us. We have no less than 10 second-rank martial artists. Our Langya squad is ranked in the top 10 in the entire Linjiang city." Lin Qingshu didn't say a single word. Another blazing sun finger burst from her fingertips. Seeing that Lin Qingshu had no intention of letting him go, bloodshot veins filled Bai Ya's eyes, and it detonated the blood-chi energy within his body. The deafening explosion. It failed to hurt Lin Qingshu even a single bit. Now that we were exposed, it wouldn't be long before the Langya squad was drawn here. She had to take me and get out of here as fast as possible. But before leaving, She still stuffed the corpses of the red monkey and the yellow rock tiger into my mouth. Dang! Consuming rank 1 late-stage red monkey. Estimated digestion time, 45 minutes. Ding! Consuming rank 1 mid-stage yellow rock tiger. Estimated digestion time, 30 minutes. I smack my lips a couple of times. My belly is full again.
A rank 1 late-stage beast has got to be worth at least a dozen purification points, right?
At this rate, in 45 minutes, my purification points will break 50.
Standing on Ling Xingshu's shoulder, I watched the scenery blur past us.
Hey, Snowy, can you take down a rank 2 martial artist right now? Ling Qingshu shook her head slightly. Fighting someone of a higher rank is extremely difficult.
Right now, there are too many of my techniques that I can't even use.
My current strength, the most I can kill is a peak rank 1. Their martial techniques and combat instincts are quite strong, but their blood chew and mental power are severely lacking.
And as for me, I couldn't offer her even a shred of help.
Wait, Snowy, aren't you a reincarnated Empress?
How are you only capable of this much? Shouldn't you be able to easily squash a rank 3 like a bug?
Ling Qingshu grit her teeth. Today is only the 4th day since my reincarnation.
Have you even given me any time to grow?
Being infuriated by this stupid dog every single day has practically swollen my chest with anger.
I gave a cheeky grin.
Then, I immediately upgraded my extraordinary scent to level 3.
My sense of smell instantly reached an incredible level. Can now perceive items within a 400-meter radius through scent alone.
Well, what can I say? You gotta spend points to make progress.
Staying alive is what matters most. Snowy, there's a small cave about 200 meters to our right. I can smell orders in there.
Let's go check it out, shall we? Besides, you've used up a lot of your blood chi. You need to recover. I sat on her shoulder, barking out directions like a boss.
Hearing this, Ling Qingshu knit her brows slightly. You can actually sense things from over 200 meters away?
I skirped proudly. Don't fall too hard for me, babe. This is just basic operation for yours truly. Once I'm fully grown, I'll be the one carrying you to greatness.
My insanely powerful perception definitely left her completely stunned.
Right now, his perception range is barely even 200 meters.
And here I am, a silly dog who hatched just 2 days ago. Yet I'm already stronger than him.
What's even crazier is, I'm not even a ranked beast yet.
What a bizarre little monster.
In both of his lifetimes, I'm easily the most bizarre beast he's ever laid eyes on. Boy with a high intellect that rivals any human and packed with countless innate abilities.
If he hadn't watched me hatch and bind our contract with his own eyes,
he'd seriously think I was using cheat codes.
I'm even more of a cheat than he is. And he's literally a reborn transmigrator.
I mean, is this even fair?
In the end, Ling Qingshu had no choice but to listen to my suggestion.
She found the cave we spotted and crawled inside.
The second we got in, I started frantically digging at the dirt. The system once told me I could devour ores to gain stat points. Now, it's time to test if that's true.
I scraped the ground with my tiny paws a few times,
and finally dug up a dark red ore, about the size of a half fist. Like I care about its value. The second I found it, I shoved it straight into my mouth. Seeing this, Ling Qingshu's eyes widened in sheer shock. Eating raw ore, and it's a hard iron ore, of all things. Is this really something an unranked beast can do? Swallowed low-grade yellow-tier red oxygen iron ore. Without waiting a second, I kept searching the cave for more iron ore.
Whenever I saw one, I gobbled it down.
Meanwhile, Ling Qingshu was focusing entirely on recovering her energy to prepare for the Lanya squad. Back at the clearing where she had fought the 2 members of the Lanya squad,
2 or 3 dozen men quickly gathered. The leader exuded a terrifyingly powerful aura.
His vital energy surged like a raging river,
reeking of thick, suffocating bloodlust.
He was Lin Lang, the leader of the Lanya squad. Someone dared to kill my men?
Take a few men, find him, and kill him.
Bring me his head.
Yan III hesitated for a moment before speaking. Captain, isn't that schoolgirl from Linjianghai more important right now? She's carrying a lot of gear on her, and she's a tier 1 spiritual master. The spiritual master's cultivation technique is worth way more than some random guy's head.
Lin Awang let out a cold sneer. That little brat is already wounded.
My blood-drinking wolf will sniff out her blood trail and track her down in no time.
Just go and butcher the bastard who killed our men.
Also, I heard the city lord's guards have entered the Qingwen forest. Go find out what they're up to. We better steer clear of them. Try not to run into the Lanya squad. Their reputation is pretty bad. But what I dread most is bumping into the city lord's guards. What he didn't know, however, was that those very guards were looking for him. If they actually catch him, he's going to end up in a world of pain.
Yeah, Lo Sang quickly complied. Yes, sir. I'll take my men and hunt down the killer.
Right away. He couldn't have left more than half an hour ago. He couldn't have gone far.
Lin Lang stroked the blood.
A smirk played on his lips. Go catch that little chick for me. This captain is definitely taking that soul technique.
A soul cultivation method is far more precious than a body refinement technique.
Even at the same rank, the difference in value is tenfold. Besides, soul attacks are much more unpredictable than physical attacks. They are impossible to guard against.
Once you possess this technique, there's even a slight chance you could become an alchemist or a chi refiner.
Now that is a guaranteed meal ticket for life. The bloodthirsty wolf darted off in one direction, moving at lightning speed. Inside the cave, I was still devouring the red sheep iron ore. A system notification rang in my mind. Ding! Digestion of Tier 1 mid-stage yellow rock tiger completed. Digestion of Tier 1 late-stage red monkey completed. Digestion of 100 pounds of low-grade yellow rank red sheep iron ore completed. Strength increased by 30. Defense increased by 20. Red sheep sigil increased by 1. The red sheep sigil is a special pattern formed by the red sheep's energy bit branded onto the skin. Once activated, it can slightly increase your strength and unleash the burning power of the red sheep. Ding! Congratulations, host, on breaking through the early phase of Tier 1. I was bursting with excitement. Delving so many good things has finally allowed me to break through to early Tier 1. From now on, I can be considered a proper magic beast. Plus, the appearance of the Scarlet Sun sigil gave me a little theory. Maybe if I devour ores with other elemental attributes, I can get these special sigils too, and boost my overall strength in every single way. Although the Scarlet Sun sigil only gives a slight boost to my combat power, stacking multiple buff effects like this would still be an incredible boost. This is awesome. The Taodi bloodline is truly insane. Ling Xingxiu, who had just recovered her strength, looked up at me with a hint of sheer astonishment in her eyes. He broke through? It's only been 2 days since he hatched, and he's already broken through to an early Tier 1 magic beast? Can he really devour absolutely anything and use that energy to level himself up? If so, that's just way too terrifying. Physical cultivators have to grind day in and day out, refining their chi and blood to strengthen their soul masters have to amass mental energy, study soul manuals, and waste endless hours on mind control training. But me? All I have to do is eat. Just my eating, my power keeps skyrocketing, and my bloodline evolves all on its own. If he actually grows up, his future achievements might really not be any weaker than his. Could he really possess the bloodline of the legendary ancient beast? The Taodi? But aren't the Taodi already completely extinct?
Ling Qingxiu was a complete mess.
She couldn't make heads or tails of all my bizarre abilities. Ding! Ling Qingxiu's amazement level has increased by 20%. Current level is 50%. Devour all things talent is 50% activated. I smoothed down the few stray hairs on my head, a smug grin spreading across my face. Hey kiddo! Looks like you've been blown away by yours truly's charm once again. Breaking through to the early first stage, just 2 days after hatching. Who else can do that? System, I've got to give you a thumbs up. I took tiny pitter-batter steps and waddled over to Ling Xingxiu. Snowy, hurry. Take me deeper into the mine so I can gobble up more red Eimer. The more I eat, the stronger I get. Hearing this, Ling Xingxiu picked me up and placed me on her shoulder. I bent my knees and bounced right onto her head. Ah, you really have to stand tall to get a good view. Though the only downside is, I can't see the mountains from up here. With that, I hopped back down to her shoulder and lay down contentedly.
Ling Qingxiu's brow furrowed deeply.
Stop jumping around on me! Otherwise, you're walking. He is clearly already broken through to the early first stage.
Yet, he still expects to be carried.
Ah, don't be mad. Yours truly was just testing out which spot is more comfortable. How about giving yours truly a nice bath when we get back?
I haven't had a single wash since the day I hatched. Ling Qingxiu's face darkened. Contracting a chatterbox like me was going to be a real handful.
Do you really possess the bloodline of the ancient mythical beast, the Taodi? Ling Shi asked in a low voice. I flashed her a smug grin.
As expected of my reincarnated pal.
You guessed it so quickly. Yep. Yours truly is a divine beast with the Taodi bloodline. Just wait. Yours truly will carry you to greatness. Even after getting my confirmation, Ling Qingxiu still felt like she was in a dream. The Taodi bloodline had completely vanished back in ancient times. For tens of thousands of years, the Taodi bloodline has never once appeared. Not only that, but bloodlines of the Four Perils, like the Taodi, or even the Divine Dragon and Phoenix, can never be easily bound by a human contract, because their pride is carved into their very bones. They don't believe humans are worthy of binding them, and if their bloodline isn't pure enough, ascending to a divine tier bloodline becomes infinitely harder. Purifying it even a tiny bit is as hard as climbing to heaven. But once a top-tier bloodline like this actually reaches the divine rank, they become absolutely invincible. A literal cheat code of existence. The Taodi can devour heaven and earth, consuming almost everything in its path. Any attack against them is completely pointless. Does this mean, in this life, I'm destined to go even higher than my last? The Empress, who has lived through 3 lifetimes of regret, feels a spark of gratitude for her choice for the very first time.
Maybe one day I really will carry him to the top.
Hey, little Qixue.
I smell blood. It smells like a human's. You need to be careful. Ling Qingxiu tilted her head to look at him. Can you guess who it is? I rubbed my chin with my little paw. The blood is from 3 hours ago. It smells fresh. They're probably around your age. There's a trace of makeup in the air, unique to girls, and a sweet, milky scent. Wait, sorry. The milky scent is actually yours.
What kind of body wash do you use anyway?
It smells so good. Let me use some when we get home, okay? Ling Qingxiu clenched her fists, a soft blush creeping up to her ears. She pulled her collar tight. Stop staring. Or you can get down and walk yourself. I pouted. What a waste. If you butter me up now, I'll carry you to greatness later. You don't even know how to make a good investment. So Sinji. What's the harm in a little peek?
Based on what you just said, there's a strong chance it's Zhao Xin.
Coincidentally, the Langa team is also in this area.
Zhao Xin might be injured and hiding inside this mine. So, are we going to save him?
Do you want to save her? Lin Qingshu asked calmly.
I want her to give me a ton of spiritual herbs,
So I can quickly evolve a few more times.
She is the city lord's daughter, after all.
If we save her, we're bound to get a load of good stuff.
We can trade it all for spiritual herbs, and I'll get a massive boost to my evolution. It'll be more than enough to trigger my second evolution.
Lin Qingshu was silent for a moment.
Our chances of success are less than 20%, she said. And a lot of that depends on how fast the city guards get here. The explosion from Aya's self-destruction made a massive noise.
The city guards have probably heard it by now.
But as for how long it'll take them to get here,
Nobody can say for sure. Right now, the City Lord's Manor doesn't even know it's the Lanya squad hunting Zhao Xing. They're basically looking for a needle in a haystack. Even if the city guards run into the Lanya squad, it won't do any good. We have to use our heads. How are you even dumber than me? We're inside a mine right now. Even a tier 2 peak warrior, if they get caught in a cave-in, they'll either end up dead or severely crippled.
Lin Qingshu's eyes lit up slightly.
If she uses tremors to destroy the mine's support structure, it would be just like setting a time bomb.
All she has to do is trigger it with her mental power to cause a total collapse.
There's a very high chance she can crush the Lanya squad members to death. After all, even tier 2 warriors are still made of flesh and blood.
A disaster of this scale, a complete mine collapse, could easily crush them into mincemeat.
But how do we get out? At most, I can guarantee that we won't get crushed to death. I lifted my chin, striking the pose of a savior. As for the final escape, of course yours truly will handle it, even if it collapses. Yours truly can easily chew a path out for you.
Lin Qingshu quickly weighed my idea. Though there were risks,
The success rate of saving Zhao Xin was about 70%.
whether or not they could crush the Langa squad to death, the collapsing mine would also draw the city guards right to them.
And their chances of a safe escape were also pretty high.
All right, let's try your plan first then, she said. Let's find Zhao Xing first and set up the trap.
All right, yours truly will lead the way.
Take the left tunnel.
The scent of blood is drifting just past there.
Lin Lang and his men had already followed the bloodhound here. The bloodhound is incredibly sensitive to the scent of blood.
Not to mention, he had already caught a whiff of Zhao Xin's blood before.
Finding her was a guaranteed done deal. It was only a matter of time. He was determined to get his hands on the spiritual master technique Zhao Xin possessed.
Even if he couldn't practice it himself, he could sell it for a fortune.
This would make money way faster than stealing tier 1 beast carcasses on a regular day.
As for Zhao Xin's background, he didn't care about it at all. She only brought 2 guards with her to train in the Qingyuan forest.
And they were just measly, mid-stage tier 2 martial artists. How could she possibly be from some powerful family? Besides, people die in the Qingyuan forest every single day.
Anyone who steps foot in here should be prepared to die.
Everyone, get in there. Search every single mine shaft thoroughly.
We must catch that girl, and I want her alive.
Limeling ordered coldly.
His eyes burned with greed and desire, both for the spiritual master technique and for Zhao Xin herself.
Following my guidance, Lin Qingshu had practically pinpointed Zhao Xin's exact location.
Come on out. I know you're in there. Hearing Lin Qingshu's cold, calm voice,
Zhao Xin instinctively assumed that the Langa squad had caught up to her.
She huddled there, shivering in fear, refusing to come out.
At her feet lay a weak, exhausted 3-tailed beast.
Lin Qingshu walked over slowly.
I'm not with the Langa squad? Like you. I'm a student from Linjiang High School. Hearing this, a sudden surge of hope and relief washed over Zhao Xin. She had been hunted by the Langa squad for nearly 1 whole day. Not only was she injured,
But her natal beast was also completely drained of energy.
she was truly at the end of her rope.
Are you Lin Qingshu?
Zhao Xin asked in a quiet, trembling voice. You know me. I've heard some classmates mention your name. Zhao Xin replied, feeling a bit embarrassed.
But the Lin Qingshu standing before her seemed completely different from the one her classmates talked about.
The girl in front of her was actually a mid-stage, tier 1, martial artist, a genius on the verge of breaking through to the late stage of rank 1.
Breaking through to late stage rank 1 in the first semester of senior year at Linjiang High School would easily put him among the top 100 warriors nationwide.
With a little more effort, this top-tier university prospect could easily push for the top 30 in the entire country.
Zhao Xin is currently a late-stage rank 1 warrior.
At the same time, he is also an early-stage rank 1 spirit master.
He originally came to the Qingyuan forest to practice his spirit arrays and sharpen his combat skills against demonic beasts. But out of nowhere, he was targeted by the ruthless Langa squad. They didn't just kill his 2 bodyguards.
They even smashed his phone to pieces.
Now, his only option is to hide here, waiting for the provincial guards to rescue him. But deep down, he has absolutely no hope. No one knows if the guards will arrive first, or if the Langa squad will find him first.
Classmate Lin, are you here to save me?
Zhao Xin asks, his voice trembling with a sliver of hope.
Lin Qingshu nods coldly.
You could say that.
But I can't guarantee I can pull you out of the Langa squad's hands alive.
From now on, you follow my orders. Understood? As long as you can save me. Classmate Lin, once we get out of the Qingwen forest, my father will reward you handsomely.
We'll talk about that later. Let's focus on getting out first.
Come with me. As Lin Qingshu made her way here, she had already scouted out the perfect spot. Whether she can save Zhao Xin or not, her own survival is always the top priority. So, she must find the sturdiest cover possible.
One that can at least withstand the impact of a collapsing mine.
Combined with her spirit array support, staying alive shouldn't be too difficult. She leads Zhao Xin to a solid, unbroken stone wall. You're supposed to be a spirit master, right? I'll teach you how to set up a spirit array. Follow my instructions to construct it. Hearing this, Zhao Xin looks at her in utter shock.
Teach him how to set up a spirit array?
Even the lowest ranked spirit array would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. He remembered hearing that Lin Qingso's parents both died in a beast tide, and that her own talent was supposedly bottom tier.
This girl standing before him is a completely different person.
Lin Qingshu frowned slightly.
Did you not understand? Wao Xin snaps out of his daze instantly.
I'm sorry.
I understand completely. Lin Qingshu channels her mental energy, transmitting the technique for the stone fortifying spirit array directly into Zhao Xin's mind. The solid stone forest array was originally designed for defense and control. It can reinforce the hardness of things like the stone ground,
Boosting their defensive power.
Using it right now is absolutely perfect. Deploy the stone forest array all around us. Above, below, left, and right. Use every last bit of mental energy you have.
Make sure that even if the mine collapses, it won't crush us to death.
Jolson gasped, sucking in a cold breath. His eyes widened.
Are you trying to collapse the mine and crush the Langya squad to death?
But then, how do we get out?
That's not your concern.
I have my ways. If you trust me, just do as I say. With that, Ling Xingsu walked ahead to set up the rest of the arise. Meanwhile, I huddled in a corner, furiously gnawing on the ore with loud crutches.
Zhao Xin watched this, his face filled with utter bewilderment.
In his eyes, Lin Qingshu was cold and aloof, yet her contracted beast was actually a clueless little black puppy.
And its bloodline rank was a measly low-tier 2-star.
With Ling Xingsu and me standing together, it was a textbook case of a beautiful flower planted in cow dung. Johnson let out a bitter laugh. Then, he began setting up the array. At this point, he had no choice but to put his faith in Lin Qingshu.
As I was gnawing on the ore,
I noticed the three-tailed demon fox staring at me with a bizarre look. Instantly, rage flared within me. Stupid fox. If you dare look at me like that again, I'll eat you alive! Sensing the pure malice in my eyes, the three-tailed demon fox took a few steps back and quickly averted its gaze in sheer terror.
in its perception, my bloodline rank was incredibly low.
Nowhere near its own mid-tier 3-star level. But the moment our eyes met, it felt like it was facing an epic grade, primordial calamity. An uncontrollable dread gripped its heart, as I would devour it in the very next second.
Zhao Xin looked over at
The returning Lin Qingshu, his face still tight with anxiety. Classmate Lin, can this really wipe out the entire Langya squads? They have no less than 30 people, and nearly 10 of them are second order. Their captain, Lin Lang, is at the absolute peak of Tier 2. For 2 Tier 1 high school kids to try and kill a peak Tier 2 powerhouse? Anyone who hears that would think it's a joke. It's harder than getting a grown man to give birth. So, do you want to die?
Ling Qingshu spoke coldly.
Zhao Xin forced a bitter smile. Of course not. I've been running for 2 days straight. I'm completely out of options. But I'm afraid I'll only drag you down.
Lin Qingshu shot him a sidelong glance. Her expression softened slightly. The Yangyu squad has already entered the mine.
They've probably already sealed off the exit.
Just follow my instructions exactly, and I guarantee you have a 70% chance of survival. How do you know where the Langya squad is?
Zhao Xin asked in surprise.
Just press your palm against the stone wall and feel it. If over 20 members in the Langya squad, plus a beast companion for each of them, no matter how careful they are, they're bound to make some noise.
In a silent mine like this, it's just too obvious.
Even with ordinary mental strength, you can feel the faint vibrations traveling through the stone. Ding! 150 pounds of low-grade yellow-rank scarlet iron ore fully digested. Strength plus 40. Defense plus 30.
The scarlet iron ore in my stomach is fully digested. Again.
My stats have gone up another notch. Too bad I didn't get any new Scarlet Ram marks. I guess you can only get 1 mark from the same type of material.
I'll have to try other ores next time.
My attack stat has already reached 185.
With the boost from the Scarlet Ram mark, my attack power is almost at mid-tier 1.
As for my defense, it has reached a ridiculous 290.
That's not far behind Lin Qingshu. It's precisely because of this digestion ability and my trust in my boss
that I'm ready to play big.
The Langya squad has over 20 people, meaning over 20 beast companions.
And one of them is even at the peak of Tier 2. I kinda pipe them all out here, I'll have more than enough evolution points to reach my second form. Not only that, but I can also start leveling up my other skills. Among them, damage reduction and greed are absolute musts. One is for defense, the other is for explosive burst. Both are top-tier skills. I rely on both of them to carry me in a fight. Suddenly, a wolf's howl echoes through the entire mine. That's the roar of a bloodlust wolf. Who would have thought? Looks like we've got an unexpected bonus.
Lin Lang and his crew swarmed into the room like a dark cloud. Their blinding flashlights beamed directly onto Lin Qingshu and Zhao Xin, staring at Lin Qingshu's body, which was even curvier and hotter than Zhao Xing's.
Lin Lang licked his lips greedily. Two at once?
Now this is a real feast. Hey, sweethearts. Hand over that divine master technique.
Zhao Xing gritted her teeth,
Her eyes burning with pure rage. In your dreams.
I am the daughter of the city lord. If you guys in the Langa squad dare to touch me, my father will tear you to pieces.
Lin Lang scoffed. Oh yeah? And I'm the damn city lord. How about you call me Daddy instead? In Linyang City, barely anyone knew the city lord even had a daughter. So when Zhao Xing claimed her father was the city lord,
There was no way Lin Lang would ever believe her.
besides, Zhao Xin was just a student at Linjiang High School. Any divine master technique she had most likely came from the school. Even if it was just a low-grade imperial rank technique, it was still far more valuable than any physical cultivation technique. After all, divine masters were incredibly rare, and the training was brutally hard.
侥幸受过委屈.
She never thought keeping her wealthy background a secret would backfire so horribly. She had the ultimate shield, but chose not to use it. How incredibly foolish of her. Lanala unleashed the raw energy within his body.
A powerful wave of vital energy surged out of him like a violent tide, filling the air with an overwhelming pressure.
He slowly walked toward the two girls, a sinister smirk on his face.
Become my women.
And hand over every single technique and weapon Lin Jiang Hai gave you. Once I break through to become a tier 3 martial artist, you two will be living like queens in Linjiang City. We'll rule this place together.
Doesn't that sound amazing? Sitting on Lin Qingshu's shoulder, I glared at Ling Lao with murderous intent. Snowy, kill him right now.
You belong to me. How dare this trash try to steal my woman?
Lei Qingshu frowned deeply, wishing she could just sew my mouth shut.
His woman? Does that make me a dog woman? Then, useless stupid dog.
Ling Qingshu cast a freezing glare over the members of the Langya squad. You want techniques? I have them. You want weapons? I have those too.
But there are so many of you. Who exactly should I give this to? Me, of course.
A cold smile played on Ling Qingshu's lips. She focused, channeling her spiritual energy into her palm. The invisible energy slowly materialized,
Transforming into a glowing silver orb.
This is the spiritual master technique you've been dreaming of, but there is only one final chance to learn it. Once integrated, this technique will vanish, and no one else can ever learn it. As for how to divide it, you can figure that out among yourselves.
Oh, I almost forgot. This spiritual master technique of mine happens to be a high-tier Xuan rank.
With that, she tossed the silver orb straight into the air.
In an instant,
Not only did Lin Lai lunge toward the orb,
but the over 20 teammates behind him also rushed forward, their eyes bloodshot with pure greed.
this was a high-tier Xuan rank technique.
Even the highest-level martial arts in all of Linjiang City didn't come close to the Shan rank, let alone a coveted spiritual matter technique. Its value easily exceeded 10 million. Whoever got their hands on it would be set for life. Such is the ugly truth of human greed. Even when they knew the odds were stacked against them, they were still driven by blind lust to fight for that elusive treasure.
As the saying goes, wealth is found in danger.
But everyone only seemed to remember the first half, completely forgetting that in danger, lives are also lost.
Lan Lan transformed into a streak of bloody light, snatching the orb in a flash.
Then, he unleashed a massive surge of vital energy, violently blasting everyone back. A ruthless, maniacal expression twisted his face as he glared viciously at his own teammates.
Are you all begging to die?
How dare you try to steal from your own captain? Do you trash really think you're worthy of a treasure like this?
That furious roar snapped the teammates back to reality.
But a deep wave of resentment toward Lang Lang began to brew in their hearts. We was supposed to be a team.
Why did Lin Lai get to hoard all the rewards for himself? This was a high-tier Xuan rank spiritual master technique, a once-in-a-lifetime chance to change their destiny.
Captain, if you take the technique, what do the rest of us get? Did you ever even care about us as brothers? One of them demanded angrily.
The said,
With someone leading the charge, the rest seeming this, the others grew bolder too.
Exactly. We've been following you in Qingyuan City for 6 or 7 years now.
And every single time, you pocketed half of the loot for yourself,
Leaving the rest of us to split the other half. Why the hell should we get so little? I haven't even saved enough to get a wife. But you, the captain, bought 3 villas all for yourself. And now, you want to hog the spiritual master's manual all to yourself. Do you even deserve to be our captain? Let's take the manual by force.
Lei Lang's lips curled into a smirk.
A flash of utter disdain crossed his eyes. A bunch of useless trash. If I didn't need you idiots to risk your lives for me,
do you really think I'd bother keeping you around?
since you're so eager to die, then you can all go to hell. A terrifying surge of vital energy erupted from his body.
The massive, bloodthirsty wolf at his feet seemed to turn into a streak of blood,
Ouncing into the crowd and tearing them to shreds.
in just a few breaths. The Tier 1 warriors among the 20-odd people suffered heavy casualties. Ling Long was highly confident in his own strength, and that of his bound beast, the bloodthirsty wolf.
Meanwhile, the squad members believed they had strength in numbers.
Ken could wear Lin Lang down to his death. Ling Qingshu pulled Zhao Xing back to where they had previously set up the beast-trapping spiritual array. Perched on her shoulder, I cast a contemptuous glance at those fools.
She really is a regressor. After all, this level of wisdom is far beyond what an 18-year-old girl should possess. While other 18-year-old girls spend their days squealing about how handsome some guy is,
She used a fake cultivation technique to trigger their human greed.
effortlessly causing the Langa squad to fight among themselves and weaken their own strength. Such tactical brilliance is not to be underestimated.
Dawson swallowed hard.
Her beautiful eyes filled with sheer shock.
The Yanga squad had hunted her for 2 whole
Days. Yet they were now fighting like dogs right in front of her classmate.
Was she and Ling Qingshu really the same age?
Was this what they meant by poor kids mature early? Killing with pure intellect.
Zhao Xing's eyes were filled with absolute admiration for Ling Qingshu.
Classmate Lin, one side is bound to win eventually.
Should we launch a surprise attack on them?
微金秀受这差扛力。
Her eyes swept over the brawling crowd as she replied. With our current strength, a surprise attack would be useless.
It would only interrupt their infighting, no matter who among them comes out on top. In the end,
Their strength will be heavily depleted.
and that is our cue to strike.
Based on Lin Qingshu's calculations,
Lane Lion has the upper hand.
Even though he is fighting alone, his bloodthirsty wolf can feast on blood to heal itself and grow even stronger. Combined with his peak Tier 2 rank,
even if the other Tier 2 warriors in the squad have the numbers, Lin Lang and his wolf will slaughter them one by one. But one thing is certain.
even if Lin Lang emerges victorious, his remaining power will be drained down to 50 or 60%.
While the mantis stalks the cicada, the oriole waits in the shadows. And Ling Qingshu intends to be the oral.
Lin Lang hasn't made a move on the two of them,
because he had already anticipated their little scheme.
but he is completely confident in his own power.
A mere Tier 1 high school kid stands 0 chance of stirring up trouble under his watch.
Unless she plays completely dirty and drags everyone in the mine down to their graves with her. After nearly 1 hour of brutal fighting,
The stench of blood fills the entire mine.
Lin Lang kicks aside the corpses on the ground
and leans against the stone wall to rest, accompanied by his limping, bloodthirsty wolf.
Damn it. Luckily, my technique is the bloodlust cultivation.
My physical recovery speed is insane. Otherwise, my injuries would have been way worse. He pulls out that silver orb from his storage ring, his eyes shining with pure excitement, looking over at Lin Qingshu and her companion watching him quietly from afar. A smirk creeps onto his face. Little girl, you're pretty smart, aren't you?
Deliberately leaking the tier of the technique
Just to force my hand into slaughtering everyone here. I, Lin Lang, just love smart women.
Ling Qingshu smiles faintly.
But did you ever guess that even the cultivation technique itself was a lie?
Hearing this, Lin Lang's eyes instantly narrow. The boiling blood in his veins runs ice cold. No, impossible. My mental strength might be weak, but I've still reached the middle of Tier 1.
There is absolutely a trace of the cultivation technique inside this silver orb.
Lin Lion desperately reassures himself that the technique is real.
He immediately channels his mental energy, letting it penetrate deep into the orb, desperate to fuse with the technique.
After all, he had once personally seen a divine master's technique, and its aura was identical to this orb.
There's no way it's a mistake.
The exact moment Lin Lang's spiritual energy touched the orb instantly dissolved into pure energy and vanished.
And it immediately triggered the swamperate Ling Qingshu had set up on the ground. In an instant, the ground beneath his feet turned into soft, sinking mud.
It dragged half of his leg right down into the muck. You miserable bitch! How dare you trick me?
Ling Qingshu didn't hesitate for even a second. It instantly activated the rest of her hidden traps.
The cavern roof above them began to violently shake. Massive cracks rapidly spiderwebbed across the stone walls, followed by a deafening, thunderous roar. Rocks and debris came crashing down in a massive landslide, completely burying half of the mine shaft.
Classmate Lin, the Langya team must be dead by now. But even if we dig in a straight line, we're still at least 100 meters from the exit.
And we don't even have any tools. That makes it even harder.
Lin Qingshu grabbed me off her shoulder and threw me forward.
I rolled a couple of times on the ground before coming to a stop,
I rubbed my sore butt.
with a look of pure, smug confidence on my face. Come on, sweet seer. I'm your man.
Can't you be just a little gentler with me?
Ling Qingshu frowned in annoyance.
Cut the crap and start digging.
I wiggled my butt, stood in front of the pile, and began devouring the fallen rocks with everything I had.
Feeling like the pace was a bit too slow,
I spent another 20 purification points to level up my devouring stomach. Immediately, my devouring speed surged. The only reason I was willing to blow my hard-earned points on this upgrade
was because my mouth was watering.
for those monster carcasses buried under the rubble ahead, especially that bloodthirsty wolf.
We're talking about over 20 monster carcasses here.
Even if they've lost a lot of blood, the energy sealed inside them is still massive.
10 of them are even Tier 2 beasts. A massive wave of evolution and attribute points is about to roll in. Zhao Xing was completely speechless, utterly shell-shocked by how fast I was swallowing those rocks. I mean, what kind of insane devouring speed is this?
I'm not even the size of a husky.
Yet the volume of rock I've eaten is already dozens, even 100 times my own size. And I wasn't slowing down at all.
Seeing Ling Qing so calmly starting to cultivate, as if no one else was there,
He could only let out a helpless laugh. Eventually, they started copying me, slowly recovering from their injuries. Meanwhile, there I was in front, scarfing down everything like a madman. These rocks were digested in just 2 breaths the moment they went down. They stood absolutely no chance against the insane digestive power of the Tauti stomach.
The saying that the ancient mythical beast, the Tauti, can devour everything is no exaggeration at all.
After stuffing my face for over an hour, my stats only went up by a few points. But the best part was when I dug up the corpse of that bloodthirsty wolf.
And slowly, I devoured it, piece by piece. Not a single scrap went to waste.
1 whole day? I was completely shocked.
Before this, digesting a Tier 1 late-stage red monkey didn't even take an hour. This Tier 2 peak bloodthirsty wolf is a whole different level.
Well, good things are worth waiting for. I can afford to wait. I kept devouring, tossing some red sheep iron ore I found among the rocks right into my mouth. My Tauti stomach space is now a full 50 cubic meters. A beast's corpse doesn't even take up 1 cubic meter. Fitting over 20 of these beasts at once is a piece of cake. I kept digging around and unearthed Ling Lang's corpse. The storage ring on his finger was still perfectly intact. I slid it off, and carrying it in my mouth, I dropped it right at Lin Qingsha's feet.
Hey, Snowy, here's a little token of my love for you. Once you take it, you have to marry me, okay?
Ling Qingsha completely ignored my smart mouth. She picked up the storage ring, wiped it clean, and slid it onto her own finger.
Come on, Snowy. Check if there's anything good to eat in there. I'm a growing boy, you know?
As I urged her, Lin Qingsha focused her consciousness into the storage ring. Lin Lab storage space was filled with all sorts of random things. Everyday supplies, rations, beast corpses, quite a few Tier 1 and Tier 2 blood vitality pills, and even some yellow-grade spiritual herbs. There was even a mid-grade, yellow-tier longsword. With all these resources, Ling Qingsha would definitely break through to the late stage of Tier 1 before the mock joint exams. At this rate, there wouldn't be more than 20 students in the entire Linjiang High School who could reach that level. So broke, Ling Qingsha muttered under her breath. Then, she tossed all of those beast corpses straight to me.
King, devoured a mid-tier 1 wind-chasing leopard.
Estimated 24 minutes to fully digest the peak Tier 1 black striped horse. Estimated 50 minutes to fully digest the early Tier 2 raging rock. Rat. Estimated 3 hours to fully digest. I let out a loud burp.
A look of pure satisfaction on my face.
Hey, little Su, I smell spiritual herbs mixed in with those beast carcasses. There must be herbs in your storage ring.
Hurry up, give them all to me.
Ling Qingsha pulled her hand back, gritting her teeth.
You seriously have the nose of a dog.
How can you even smell that? No way. I need these spiritual herbs for my own cultivation.
Devouring those beast carcasses is more than enough for you. I immediately got annoyed. This lord's bloodline is right on the verge of evolving again. Hurry up and feed me the herbs. Ling Qingsha's face darkened.
She pulled out a mid-grade yellow rank ice crystal flower and tossed it to me.
Just this one. There's no more. There's no more.
I gave a soft snort, sat out the ice crystal flower, and turned away.
My buddy is still as stingy as ever. Ding! Devoured a mid-grade yellow rank
ice crystal flower. Strength +6, defense +6, spirit +5, and evolution points +8. The evolution points and attributes gained from devouring spiritual herbs seem to be slightly less than those from beasts. But the upside is that the digestion speed is incredibly fast. In the future, I can rely on devouring massive amounts of spiritual herbs to rack up evolution points. Although spiritual herbs provide fewer evolution points, you can't beat the sheer speed. A Tier 1 early stage beast takes more than 10 minutes to digest.
Tier 2 starts at 3 hours, and Tier 3? That'll probably take days.
To clear out the mine cave as quickly as possible and digest the beast carcasses, I gritted my teeth and spent 30 evolution points to upgrade my Tadia's stomach again, expanding its capacity to store 60 cubic meters of food. Plus, it can digest anything to nourish my own body, and my digestion speed is boosted by 50%. This time, I've really gone point of no return down this path. My stats are incredibly lopsided. I sighed helplessly. I'll leave the fighting to my buddy, and I'll just focus on eating. Now my evolution points are down to just 6. But once I finish digesting all these beast carcasses, a second bloodline purification is absolutely inevitable. Also, I started devouring them like crazy once again. Outside the mine, the 2 members of the Langa squad guarding the entrance suddenly heard a deafening rumble. It startled them so badly they literally jumped. At the same time, the city lord's guards searching nearby for Zhao Xin's whereabouts heard the noise as well. They immediately rushed toward the mine.
Riding to top a massive eagle, Zheng Zhengwen swooped down and captured the 2 Lenya squad members alive.
Staring at them with icy eyes, he demanded,
"Why did this mine collapse?
And did you see our young mistress?" The 2 men's legs shook violently with fear. They stammered, unable to squeeze out a coherent word. He instantly crushed one of their throats and snarled, "You have exactly 3 breaths to talk." Lady Zhao Xin's has been missing for 2 whole days.
City Lord Zhao Tinan gave a strict order. We must find her within 1 day.
Otherwise,
Every last one of us will pay. I don't know why the mine collapsed either. Our Lanya squad was only chasing someone, the man explained in a trembling voice.
Zhang Zhengwen pulled out a photo of Chaoxing.
Is this who you were chasing?
The moment he saw the woman in the photo,
The man's pupils dilated with sheer terror.
He knew. He was completely finished.
that woman was indeed the only daughter of City Lord Zhao Tinglan.
Seeing his reaction, Cha Dongwon didn't even need an answer. His eyes flared with murderous intent.
He snapped the man's neck without a second thought. Several squad leaders quickly gathered around Zhang Zhongwan. Commander, is the young mistress really buried inside the mine?
His fists clenched so tightly they trembled.
Sweeping his gaze over the crowd, he roared,
Assemble everyone immediately.
"Dig through this collapsed mine right now."
Nothing must happen to the young mistress. Upon receiving the order, the guards immediately began transmitting the message, summoning every single soldier who was out searching for John Sin to the site. Everyone, start digging. Within 3 hours, I want a clear path straight to the depths of this mine. 3 hours. That was his very last chance. If Huaxin died, Zhao Tinglan would absolutely go insane with rage.
Ding! Middle stage, Tier 1 Wind Chaser Leopard digestion complete. Power plus 13. Defense plus 8. Speed plus 18. Purification value plus 12. Ding! Peak Tier 1 Dart Bull digestion complete. Power plus 16. Defense plus 18. Purification value plus 20. Ding! Congratulations, host on breaking through to the middle stage of Tier 1.
Hearing the system notifications,
My mood became better and better. Having digested all the carcasses of those Tier 1 beasts, my attributes spiked dramatically, and my purification value has already crossed 100. On top of that, my level even broke through. Talk about a triple blessing. My current combat strength has completely reached the middle stage of Tier 1, and my defense is even on par with the late stage of Tier 1. It's insane growth rate, as expected of an ancient primordial beast. With 126 purification points, I can already start upgrading my bloodline rank, but I should wait until we clear out this mine first. This will be my second evolution, so it will definitely take longer than the first time. I must ensure my absolute safety. Besides, this is just the appetizer. Once I fully digest all the Tier 2 beast carcasses in my stomach, my stats are going to skyrocket again.
your man is about to take off. Sensing the vibrations coming from the ground,
I suddenly came to a halt.
the Yanya squad is basically wiped out.
So the ones digging into the mine now are highly likely the ambushers. It's perfect. I was getting tired of eating those tasteless, low-nutrient beasts anyway. I'll just let you guys do the digging. Time for me to take a little break. With my head held high, I strolled back to Lin Qingsu's side. Kicking off with my 4 stubby little legs, I leaped right onto her shoulder.
Bring So's lips twitched.
Completely speechless at my behavior. Even though the raw power in my body has already surpassed that of an ordinary Tier 1 middle stage warrior, I still love clinging to her. Like this. How annoying, she thought. But right then, a surge of pure, refined energy flowed back to her through our contract. This meant I had broken through again after less than a day in this mine, becoming a Tier 1 middle stage beast just 3 days after hatching. Even as a reincarnated Empress, this made her scalp go numb with shock. Is the touty really this absurdly overpowered? Looking at the lazy beast resting on Lin Qingsu's shoulder, classmate Lin's natal beast is actually quite intriguing. But is it tired? Why did it stop digging? He says your family's guards have already started digging from the outside. They'll break through in 2 hours at most. Hearing this, Joshin's face lit up with surprise and relief. His pale complexion instantly looked much better. After enduring this nightmare for over 2 days, his nerves had been on edge this whole time. But now that the city guards had arrived, he could finally breathe a sigh of relief. He looked at his classmate, Lin Qingsu, with deep gratitude. Thank you so much for saving my life. Is there anything you want? I'll do whatever I can to repay you. Suddenly, I snapped my eyes open. My 2 little paws frantically tugged at Lin Qingsu's collar. Little Xiu, hurry! I want spiritual herb, and I want lots of them. Lin Qingsu pushed my head down with mild irritation. Only then did she look up at Jia Xin. I want access to the low-level mystic realm in your city lord's mansion. And I also need some spiritual herbs for my cultivation.
Jia Xin paused.
Think. He seemed to be hesitating. After all, the mansion's mystic realm was typically reserved only for the city guard. I can talk to my dad about it. It shouldn't be much of a problem. As for the spiritual herbs, that's easy. We have plenty of them in the mansion. I can get them to you in about 3 days. Does that work, classmate Lin?
Ling Qingsu nodded slightly.
That works. Zhao Xing smiled, looking completely relaxed. In his eyes, Ling Qingsu was an absolute cultivation prodigy. With zero background or resources, she had relied entirely on sheer effort to break through to the mid-stage of Tier 1, 2.6, 2.8. Now she was just 1 step away from the late stage of Tier 1, 2.9. A score like that already put her in the school's top 10. If she could break through to the mid-stage of Tier 2 before the National Martial Arts exam in 4 months, she would be guaranteed a spot in one of the country's top 30 martial arts universities, 2.12. And if she could reach the late stage of Tier 2, 2.13, she would even have a slim chance of reaching a top 10 elite university in the nation, 2.14. Over the last 10 years, even the top scorers of the national exam had only reached the mid-stage of Tier 3,
2.15. If Lin Qingsu had more resources at her disposal, she would stand a great chance of getting into a top 10 university in the country. The mock joint exam would be her first opportunity, and the final sprint toward the national martial arts exam would be her second. During these two phases, Lin Qingshu's vital energy and cultivation would skyrocket, and she might even seize the school's #1 spot. Rumble! A deafening, grinding screech echoed from outside the boulder-blocked mine shaft ahead.
Yo, mistress, are you in there?
Hearing the shout,
Jiao Xing's face lit up with a smile.
"Command Jia, I'm inside the mine. Get your men to clear the entrance, quickly." Outside the mine, a wave of relief and joy washed over Jiang Yuan's face. Thank goodness Jiao Xing is safe.
Zhao Ningwen immediately whipped out his phone to send the news to Zhao Tianlan.
At the very least, his position was saved, as the last massive boulder was cleared away.
教训的林清秀握到了的满，
Miss, you're hurt.
将杨玉婉裤体剖到了麒麟剖型，他居找戏。
Downing the potion, color slowly returned to Jiao Xin's pale face, and the bloody gashes on her skin began to scab over.
这样就要传承了林清秀。How did this classmate end up with you, miss?
Jiao Xing quickly explained. Lin is my classmate. If she hadn't saved me, this time,
I'm afraid I would never have escaped the Langya squad's pursuit.
将就完罗格林请血雾，地管之替。谢谢你司令，或随便而杨丽的来历。
Our city lord's estate will surely reward you handsomely. Li Qingshu's face remained completely indifferent. Still looking utterly unbothered, she coolly replied, "Since your estate soldiers are here, I still have training to do, so I'll be off." With that, she took me and headed deeper into the Qingwen forest.
Chantilier's expression turned strange.
He found Lin Qingshu's attitude incredibly hard to read. "Miss, your classmate, Miss Lin, seems to possess an extraordinary level of calmness."
Zhao Xing let out a bitter laugh.
what if I told you she easily wiped out over 20 members of the Langya squad without breaking a sweat?
Would you believe me, Commander Zhang?
Upon hearing this, Zhang Yuan's eyes went wide.
His eyes filled with utter disbelief and shock.
You must be joking, miss.
The leader of the Langya squad, Lin Lang, is a peak second-tier martial artist, and he has nearly 10 second-tier martial artists under him. She's only a mid-stage first-tier martial artist. How could she possibly do that? But she did. And she made it look as simple as breathing. She didn't even get a single scratch. As if suddenly realizing something,
Jiaotong Kanyan instantly connected the collapse of the mine to Lin Qingsu,
crushing the Langya squad members with falling rocks, while drawing them all inside. A simple trick that easily killed 2 birds with 1 stone. What a brilliant mastermind. To think such a genius has kept herself hidden all this time, and his talent and intelligence are both top tier.
Jia Xing nodded slightly.
Exactly. He's bound to be the biggest dark horse of Lin Zhanghai's graduating class. Should we send a few auxiliary soldiers to protect him then? After all, there are beasts above tier 3 lurking inside Qingyam Forest.
将军来炸事。
No need, Lin Qingshu replied calmly. He won't do anything too risky. Since he chose not to return to school to cultivate slowly, that means he's absolutely confident.
Zhangyan left in the direction Lin Qingshu had gone
And sighed. All right, I'll escort the young lady back to the city lord's estate first. The city lord is already worried sick. Walking along the narrow forest path, Lin Qingshu kept scanning her surroundings, searching for a safe spot. Idavodi told him that his bloodline rank is about to be purified. Even Lin Qingshu herself, upon hearing this news, couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement in her heart. Every single breakthrough in bloodline purification of mine feeds back energy to her. This is a great thing for her. Right now, she's only 1 step away from the late stage of Tier 1. 2 days is more than enough for her to make that breakthrough. Finding a flat clearing to the west, Lin Qingshu sat down. This place should be safe enough. How long will your purification take? I thought about it for a moment. Probably about 10 minutes or so. All right, go ahead and start. I'll stand guard for you. A grin spread across my face. Hey, little Shishi is about to witness yours truly's second bloodline purification with her own eyes. Bloodline purification. Initiate. The familiar wave of drowsiness washed over me. My body began to be enveloped in a thick, potent bloodline aura. Safe red energy drifted all around me. My bloodline was constantly purifying itself, slowly advancing toward becoming a true, legendary Taudi. I just don't know how many evolutions it'll take to completely turn into the god of Guatni Taudi. Once she confirmed I was stable evolving,
Lin Qingshu immediately took out the remaining 3 spiritual orbs from her storage
and popped them straight into her mouth. 2 of them were mid-grade mortal tier soul-focusing flowers that could boost her mental strength, while the other was a high-grade mortal tier blood spirit resin capable of boosting her vitality. She would never have dared to bring these out while I was awake. If she actually brought them out, they'd probably just be thrown to the dogs anyway. Whenever she ate these spirit herbs, she couldn't help but feel a bit guilty for some reason. To think that she, a once mighty female emperor, having to eat a few spirit herbs would actually require her to sneak around like this. But honestly, it's because my dog-like nose is just too sharp and my appetite is ridiculously huge. I can almost never get full. If she fed all of it to me, her own level would drop. On top of that, she was worried about another thing. The beast
turning on its master. When a beast's strength surpasses that of its master, there is always a risk of it turning on them. Although my Tauti bloodline pleasantly surprised her, she was also deeply worried deep down. According to ancient records, the Tauti has an extremely murderous nature. Together with Hondo, Kyuncho, Ikatabo, is known as one of the 4 great evil beasts. They are the ultimate symbol of pure evil. To them, slaughter is as casual as lifting a hand. From ancient times until now, no human has ever been able to successfully establish a destiny covenant with this type of evil beast. She might be the first person in history to do so. And because of this, Ling Qingshu was deeply worried that as my Taoti bloodline grew stronger, I would truly turn into a catastrophic Taoti. That day truly came, and she had raised the public enemy of the entire world. I'm afraid that even if she restored her peak strength, she wouldn't be able to stop the terrifying Taoti. Ling Qingshu slowly exhaled a heavy sigh, her gaze falling upon me. I hope you won't turn into a great evil. Otherwise, I'll have to take you down with me. I obviously couldn't hear what she said. My evolution was nearing its end. The blood-colored energy around my body grew increasingly dense. My flesh tore and remolded. My bones let out a thunderous rumble. And my body grew a size larger once again. By now, I was already about the size of a husky. The most dramatic change, though, was my mouth. The teeth inside were razor-sharp, glinting with a cold light, capable of easily crushing crystals into pieces. My fur grew even darker and sleeker. Evolution completed. Initiating the next form, Voracious Beast. Requires 1,000 evolution points. Bloodline level evolved to low grade, 5-star. Only one more evolution is needed to step into the ultimate bloodline. The limit of the ultimate bloodline is a rank 6 martial artist, and the limit of a high-grade bloodline is a rank 9 martial artist. A low-grade, 5-star bloodline is more than enough for me to get by for now, but the next purification actually requires 1,000 purification points. That is so freaking much! Do they think it's easy for me to earn these points? I sighed and grumbled, deciding to put off the bloodline purification for now and focus on upgrading a few of my skills first. Boosting my combat power is the priority. That way, slaying demonic beasts will be a piece of cake. Plus, my greed skill has gone through a change this time. Once activated, it doesn't just boost all my attributes, it also completely blocks out all pain, keeping my peak condition buff active. This will make me a total unstoppable fighting machine. Insane damage output, high damage reduction, and then there are my iron-shredding savage fangs. I bared them to show off. But then, I suddenly remembered and got angry. Susu, you actually stole and ate the spiritual herbs while I was evolving? I'm so mad. Bring Xingshu curled her lips into a smile. With a playful look, she said, "You can only believe what your own eyes see. Did you actually see me steal and eat the spiritual herbs?" I was instantly tongue-tied. Man, that is so unfair, but there was nothing I could do. Since I hadn't caught her red-handed, I had to just swallow my pride and suck it up. I kicked off with my hind legs, trying to leap onto Lin Qingshu's shoulder just like I used to. But Ling Qingshu quickly dodged out of the way. I felt instantly hurt. Wow, where did the love go? Sushu, you're not affectionate with me at all anymore. I'm this cute, and you still have the heart to reject me? Ling Qingshu knit her brows tightly, looking a bit exasperated. With my current rugged, bulky look, she couldn't possibly associate me with cute. It was already a miracle she hadn't called me an ugly beast. You're so huge now, she said. You must weigh at least 100 pounds. Do you expect me to carry you around on my shoulders? I chuckled inwardly and looked down at my own body. No worries. I've got plenty of tricks up my sleeve. I immediately upgraded my size alteration skill to level 4. Current adjustment scale is 8 times. To some, I shrank down to the size of a tiny kitten and leaped right back onto Lin Qingsu's shoulder. And this time, she didn't dodge. Ling Qingshu turned her head and looked at him with sheer helplessness. Why do you like perching on my shoulder so much? Can't you get down and walk on your own? I lifted my chin. Well, I like being up here. Besides, being up high gives me the upper hand, and the view is fantastic. Glancing at the crystal clear, unpolluted river ahead, my eyes lit up. Hey, little Susu, let's go take a bath. You can scrub my back, and I'll scrub yours. And as for other things, I can also think of service. Dead lost. In the end, we did end up taking a bath. Ling Qingshu held me down in the river and gave me a thorough scrubbing, and then set up a spirit array to block my vision. Only then did she feel safe enough to get into the water to wash up. There's absolutely zero trust between humans and beasts. I'm literally just a little beast right now. What's the harm in taking a couple of peeks? It's not like I can do anything to you anyway. Just wait until I become a spirit master. Sooner or later, I'll break right through your spirit array tricks. Beasts also possessed spiritual power. In theory, they could also become spirit masters. But beasts with that kind of talent were extremely rare. After all, a beast's intelligence was inherently limited. Trying to learn the complex structures of spirit arrays was about as difficult as asking me, in my current body, to thread a needle and sew clothes. Setting up spirit arrays required extremely precise and delicate work, even if they reached king tier. Even after shapeshifting, a magic beast's true nature won't change. Besides, magic beasts won't waste time learning useless magic formations.
Attacking with their physical bodies is where their true strength lies.
We rested in place for nearly 1 day. Honestly, I was the one who strongly requested this. It's not because I'm lazy, but because the massive pile of magic beast carcasses in my stomach needs 1 full day to digest. Once I absorb this massive wave of stat points, I'll become much stronger, and it'll be time to level up my skills. Digestion of the Tier 2 early stage Earth Rock Bead. Completed. Strength increased by 24.
Defense increased by 20.
Speed increased by 10.
Crification value increased by 25. Listening to the system notifications constantly popping up in my mind, my mood instantly brightened up again.
The Tier 2 early stage and Tier 2 mid stage magic beast carcasses have all been fully digested.
My attribute points are absolutely skyrocketing.
And my purification points look amazing too. My purification points the immediate vital.
Congratulations, host, on breaking through to the peak of Tier 1. Hearing that system notification makes me want to jump for joy.
With attributes like these, I can easily go head-to-head with anyone in early Tier 2.
If we actually clash, I won't be lacking in the slightest.
Since my next evolution is still a long way off.
Let's upgrade my skills first. I rub my hands together in eager anticipation, a massive, excited grin spreading across my face. Commands rapidly flash through my mind, and several skills on my system panel begin to level up at lightning speed. Single upgrade just cost me over 200 purification points.
This is hands down the most expensive purchase I've ever made, but the boost it gives me is undeniably massive.
I upgraded my Taunty Devour skill to level 8.
Now, not only is my digestion speed faster, but my storage space has expanded too.
Greed and damage reduction have both been upgraded to level 6. Once activated, all my attributes shoot up by 60%, and my damage mitigation rate reaches 6%.
And this is just the beginning.
Once these skills reach their max level,
all my attributes will increase tenfold, and my damage mitigation will reach 100%.
I'll be absolutely invincible.
Host, your understanding is incorrect. In a strict sense, damage reduction is not the same as damage immunity.
I scratch my head. Wait, what's the difference?
The principle behind your damage reduction skill is that you rely on your Taunty bloodline to devour a portion of any attack directed at you.
However, your devouring capacity has its limits.
If an attack exceeds your limit,
even with a damage reduction rate of 100%, you still won't be completely immune to damage.
It suddenly clicks. Oh, I get it. So, if an attack heading my way deals 100 points of damage, and my current reduction rate is 6%,
that means I should mitigate 6 points of damage. But if my devouring limit is only 5 points, then I can still only mitigate 5 points, right? Exactly. The actual amount of damage reduced depends on your damage reduction rate, as well as your own devouring limit. A look of disappointment washes over my face. Man, and here I thought I'd get total damage immunity. But even if it's tied to my devouring capacity, this skill is still incredibly powerful.
As long as I keep boosting my defense stats, and the damage from incoming attacks will be reduced, too.
Combine that with my damage reduction skills.
How much damage would actually get through? Besides, don't forget that the Taunty is a top-tier divine beast. Even against a being of the same rank, how much higher could their stats really be? In terms of skill mechanics, I am completely invincible. Within the same tier.
Fighting above my level is just like playing in a high elo lobby. But don't worry, your boy has plenty of experience. Suddenly, 2 consecutive bursts of pure, refined, vital energy surged back into Lin Qingshu's body.
With the spiritual herbs he had absorbed, his level also broke through to the late stage of Tier 1.
Lin Qingshu's eyes trembled slightly.
Her heart shaking with disbelief.
He broke through again. And he did it by leaping 2 stages in one go?
Is this the terrifying talent of an ancient calamity beast?
Compared to a Taunty, human cultivation speed is as laughably slow as a toddler trying to run.
Lin Qingshu looked at me warily. My strength had already surpassed hers.
With only my mental strength lagging a step behind. And mental strength was her very last advantage. If even her mental strength was overtaken, she would have absolutely no way to keep me in check.
The moment I decided to turn on my master, she would be completely finished.
No, I must put everything into cultivating the Myriad Star God art, focusing purely on boosting my mental strength. Beast pets usually develop their mental strength much slower.
As long as I can keep my mental strength ahead, I can use the Destiny Divine Prison Contract to prevent him from rebelling. As long as she maintained an advantage in mental strength, she would hold all the cards.
After all, when it comes to physical growth, even if you doubled her efforts, she could never keep up with me.
Little Shusho, let's keep pushing.
Help me find some spiritual herbs and magical beasts that can boost my mental strength.
My mental strength is seriously lagging behind my other stats.
Hearing this, Lin Qingshu's heart skipped a beat, and she blurted out,
No, don't focus on mental strength.
Mental strength is useless to you anyway.
It's not like you know any mental techniques.
All you need is just enough mental strength to block mental attacks. And that's it.
I scratched my head with my little paw. That actually makes some sense.
But still, the gap is just too huge.
My defense and attack are both close to Tier 2 level now,
but my mental strength is still stuck at the mid-stage of Tier 1.
Lin Qingshu's mouth twitched.
A huge gap is exactly what I want.
As long as he's unbalanced, I still have a chance.
Don't worry about it. Beasts are meant to be strong in the physical department.
The stronger your physical body is, the stronger you'll become.
Mental strength isn't really important for you anyway. Trust me, I have way more experience in this area than you do.
Fine then. I'll just scarf down more spiritual herbs from now on.
Spiritual herbs actually boost my mental strength a ton.
Wei Xingsu quietly made a mental note. From now on, you can forget about eating even a single herb that boosts mental strength. I lay lazily on Ling Qingsu's shoulder, bored out of my mind.
My eyes scanned our surroundings. Hey, little Xu Sui, where are we heading now? There are still 3 days left before your school's mock joint exam. We should head back 1 day early. I leaves us with about 2 days to use. Hearing this,
Ling Qingshu looked quite hesitant.
he is currently a late-stage Tier 1 physical cultivator. His spirit master
Is only at mid-stage Tier 1, and she will soon be able to break through to late-stage Tier 1 as well.
continuing to hunt Tier 1 magical beasts is too easy for him now.
But the rewards would be minimal.
Wandering aimlessly around Ting Yuan Forest would just be a waste of time.
I want to go get that starstone.
But given our current strength, it's going to be a bit tough.
Is this starstone tasty? I asked curiously. A few black lines appeared on Ling Qingsu's forehead.
The starstone is an Earth-grade treasure.
It helps me cultivate my techniques. It's not for eating.
Hearing the words, Earth grade,
My eyes instantly lit up.
Ling Qingsu immediately thought, oh no. It seemed she had said the wrong thing. She cleared her throat softly.
The starstone has a very specific use. It won't do you any good if you eat it.
But it's extremely important to me.
My interest in the starstone vanished instantly.
But since it's so important to my little sushi,
Then let's just go snatch it. After all, we can take on Tier 2 beasts now.
Ling Qingshu shook her head helplessly.
Leave away. In my past life, I remember the starstone was inside the nest of a late-stage Tier 3 starry sparrow.
Its strength is far beyond anything we can handle, and it's incredibly fast. If it spots us, we won't even be able to run. A late-stage Tier 3 beast is indeed a tough nut to crack.
But who knows? Maybe my brilliant genius brain can come up with a way. I grinned and teased.
If we can't beat it with raw power, we'll just have to outsmart it.
After all, demonic beasts are far dumber than humans. At least, before they reach the king realm, the vast majority of them can't match our intellect.
Hey, little Shusu, is there any way we can go invisible or completely mask our aura?
Ling Qingju's tilted her head, looking at me perched on her shoulder.
Well, there is.
Whether it's through martial techniques or spirit arrays, I have ways to conceal our presence.
Are you planning to use your size-shifting talent to
Sick in and steal the starstone?
Exactly. I'm just not sure what our chances of success are.
Ling Qingshu gave a heavy shake of her head. No, it's too risky. The starry sparrow has incredibly unique eyes.
If you show even the slightest slip-up, you'll be spotted instantly. And in front of that beast, you won't even have a chance to run. Just as the two of them were about to temporarily give up on the starstone, a sharp, piercing shriek ripped through the sky.
Lin Tingqiu looked up, her eyes scanning the heavens.
High above, a massive azure avian beast with a wingspan of 7 to 8 meters was in hot pursuit of a warrior riding a thunder eagle.
That massive bird was none other than the starry sparrow she had just mentioned.
Its level was also Tier 3. Judging by its late-stage strength, it was highly likely the exact same beast from her past life. Some starry sparrows were extremely rare and relied on absorbing astral energy to grow stronger. They were incredibly obsessed with treasures like starstones. That particular starstone was undoubtedly what this creature had dragged back to its nest.
Little Shu, is this our lucky break or what?
Ling Qingshu's lips curled into a smirk.
A glint of amusement in her eyes.
Indeed, our chance has come.
With the starry sparrow lured away to hunt the human warrior,
They could easily slip in and snatch the starstone.
She immediately cast her breath concealment technique to completely mask both of their auras and dashed toward the location of the nest from her memories. This was a golden opportunity. If they missed this, she would have to wait until she broke through to the peak of Tier 2 or even early Tier 3 to take the starstone by force. But suddenly, as if realizing something, Ling Qingshu came to an abrupt halt. Her expression instantly darkened. I looked at her, completely puzzled. What's wrong? That starry sparrow. It was lured away on purpose.
their goal must be the starstone as well.
In her past life, the only reason she knew there was a starstone in that nest was because someone had successfully retrieved it first, and the ones who took it were the Thunder Mercenaries, the #1 mercenary group in Linjiang City. The leader is Lei Tinbao, a powerhouse who has already broken through to a Tier 4 warrior. This guy is incredibly petty and vindictive. His methods are absolutely ruthless. Anyone who dares to cross him ends up with a miserable fate. Once, someone who hated the way he did things cursed at him in public. In the end, he literally electrocuted them to death with lightning. Right there on the street, and not a single member of that person's family survived. I stroked my chin with my little paw, but there's only one starstone. If we miss this chance, it's going to be really hard to find another one. Plus, we don't even have enough money to buy food. We definitely can't afford it.
So, other than stealing it, we don't really have any other choice. Do you have the gut to risk it all with me?
Ling Qingshu asked softly.
I proudly tossed my head back.
Hey, don't look down on me.
I'm the legendary Touty.
Snatching a single starstone is like a walk in the park for me.
Honestly though, I just believe in Ling Qingshu's protagonist aura.
A reincarnated master, paired with a contracted beast like me, who has a system and is literally the handsomest creature in history. If this isn't the ultimate main character setup, I don't know what is. How could the main characters ever fail to get what they want? Our success rate is at least 98%. Let's go, go, go!
We're absolutely invincible. All the treasures are ours.
A brilliant spark lit up Ling Qinshu's eyes.
A wave of warmth rushed through her heart. It felt so good. Like she finally had someone she could truly rely on in her 2 lifetimes.
Only a handful of people that ever made her feel this way.
I smirked proudly. See? Boosting intimacy is just that easy. It's almost maxed out. If I can activate the Devour All Things talent to 100%, the attribute points I get from devouring will skyrocket. Ling Qinshu took a deep breath, and her expression returned to calm. Right in front of us, at the top of a giant tree canopy that was as thick as 7 or 8 people hugging it, was the nest of the astral sparrow.
It was easily 20 to 30 meters wide.
I was actually a little blown away by the size. Man, if I could devour that astral sparrow, it would be freaking incredible. With its late tier 3 rank and that massive size, not only would it fill me right up, but it would also drop a massive amount of attribute points and evolution value. Too bad I can only dream about eating it right now. There's no way I can actually get a bite.
Honestly, if anyone's getting eaten, it'd probably be the other way around.
Hey, little Shuso, can you sense what the Thunder Mercenary group is?
Ling Qinshu pushed her spiritual power to the absolute limit,
Carefully scanning the entire area.
Suddenly, several faint, hidden presences entered her radar.
Their energy signatures were incredibly powerful. At least tier 3 warriors, and there are at least 5 of them lurking nearby. They're all high-level elites. A massive headache washed over me. So why haven't they made a move to steal the Star Stones yet? Simple. The Star Sparrow hasn't flown far enough. From where it is, it can still see everything happening around its nest. If they try to steal now, it will fly right back. The Star Sparrow chasing the Thunder Eagle is only a few thousand meters away. Any further, and it'll refuse to give chase. After all, it's a highly intelligent beast. The tamer who contracted the Thunder Eagle is doing everything to provoke the Star Sparrow,
Trying to lure it even further away.
so the others can swipe the Star Stones.
But so far, the plan is failing.
Hey, little Susie, can you help me mask my presence and turn me invisible?
I think I've got a plan.
I can mask your presence and make you invisible using spirit arrays. But are you sure you can pull this off? I'd say so. As long as I can stay invisible and completely hidden, my chances of success are pretty high.
Ling Qinshu hesitated for a moment.
Before channeling her spiritual energy to carve 2 spirit arrays onto my body,
One was a breath-concealing array.
and the other was a mirror image array. First one completely masks my presence, while the second bends light to grant me perfect invisibility.
As long as I don't make any loud noises, those guys won't stand a chance of spotting me.
I quickly channeled my own spiritual energy into the arrays Ling Qinshu had carved, and rapidly got the hang of how they worked. Then, shrinking my body to its absolute smallest size, I slipped out. With my current stats and absolute physical control, what wouldn't make a sound unless I wanted to? Just like that, I easily crept up to the massive tree, which was as thick as 7 or 8 people hugging it, and began to climb. Every single movement had to be whisper quiet to ensure absolute stealth.
But if I wanted to safely walk away with the Star Stones,
Just sneaking in like this wasn't going to cut it. The moment anyone tries to take those Star Stones out of the Star Sparrow's nest,
the Astral Sparrow will definitely notice something is wrong and rush back immediately.
that's why I need help.
I need helpers who can actually lure that thing away from me.
As for who those helpers are, well, obviously, those suckers down there. Raymond sat on the back of his tier 3, late-stage lie-in beast, his eyes locked onto the Astral Sparrow behind him. But this damn bird is incredibly smart. I've done everything I can to piss it off, but it still refuses to leave its nest. Raymond cursed under his breath, feeling more and more anxious. His actions have already drawn the attention of others. If I don't get my hands on the Astral Stones this time, the competition will only get fiercer later. Even the City Lord's mansion might try to make a move on them. At that thought, violent lightning surged from Raymond's palms,
And he blasted it straight at the Astral Sparrow.
the Astral Sparrow tilted its body slightly,
Effortlessly dodging the attack.
It didn't even break a sweat. Its body is just too agile.
Other than being slightly slower than the lion,
It completely outclasses it in every other way.
damn beast.
If I'd known, I would have asked my brother to help me. He had thought his strength was only slightly below the Astral Sparrow's, and that bringing a couple of extra guys would be enough. But he never expected this bird to be so damn smart. He pulled out his phone and contacted his mercenary team members lying in wait under the Sparrow's nest. Take the men and steal the Astral Stones. I'll do everything I can to hold the bird off. The other end of the line went silent for 2 seconds. Raymond, if I told you an Astral Sparrow egg just fell right into my hands, would you believe me?
What kind of bullshit are you talking?
I told you to steal the Astral Stones. Since when is a sparrow egg more important than the Astral Stones? Raymond rolled in anger.
Raymond? I don't know either.
It literally just fell down on its own. Oh shit. Meanwhile, hiding under the Astral Sparrow's nest, Abin was completely dumbfounded. 3 Astral Sparrow eggs had just dropped in a row, right onto his head. It was like he was seeing a ghost. Is this? A gift straight from the heavens. Suddenly, a sharp, piercing screech snapped him right back to reality. The Story Sparrow was completely enveloped in a massive wave of astral energy. Its avian eyes glowed a terrifying blood red.
Its aura was wildly chaotic and violent.
Behind it, Raymond was desperately trying to hold it back.
but it was completely useless. Think, you absolute idiot. Hurry up and get the guys to grab the beast. Raymond roared in anger. The story sparrow was already completely enraged, and once it heads back to its nest, drawing it out again will be practically impossible. If we don't strike now, we'll never get another chance. Guys, climb that tree, now. In an instant, 5 dark figures emerged from the shadows and scrambled quickly up the massive tree. Inside the starry sparrow's nest, I looked on with a mock sigh of pity.
These mercenaries really are battle-hardened veterans who live on the edge.
Their reaction times are incredibly fast, and they can adapt their plans on the fly. But this isn't nearly chaotic enough.
Let's make it a whole lot worse.
I let out a cold laugh and used my claws to crack open the starry sparrow's egg, pouring the sticky yolk straight down.
It drenched the thunder mercenaries who were currently climbing the tree.
Up in the sky, the starry sparrow instantly lost its mind. With one devastating strike, it blasted Raymond and his thunder eagle backward. In its frenzied state, its strength soared. Instantly, even Raymond had to back off to avoid the brunt of its fury. Who the hell is messing with me? When I catch you, I'll tear you limb from limb. Raymond was absolutely furious. The starry sparrow turned into a blue blur, tearing through the sky.
In the blink of an eye, it flew back to the giant tree, raining down countless sharp feathers.
Thing and his crew felt their hair stand on end in sheer terror. Out of the 5 of them, the strongest was Ben, a mid-stage rank 3 body cultivator. Against a frenzied starry sparrow, even he stood almost 0 chance of survival.
Run! Run! Everybody run!
Otherwise, we're all dead.
The 5 of them immediately leapt off the giant tree
And began running for their absolute lives. Their beasts were all land-based, unable to fly,
and their speed was nowhere near that of the starry sparrow.
with a barrage of razor-sharp feathers raining down on them. They fled in total humiliation, scrambling to cover their backsides.
Get the hell away from me, you idiots! Your feathers are poking right into me.
Bing roared in fury.
Brother Bing, out of the 5 of us, you're the strongest. If we run on our own, we'll never escape the starry sky sparrow. Exactly, Brother Bing. With great power comes great responsibility. Besides, we're brothers. Bing's face turned completely pale with rage.
I swear I'll beat you all to death when we get back.
Of the 5 of them, his head was covered in the most egg yolk. He was already getting extra attention from the starry sky sparrow, and now he had to take the hits for everyone else, too. Hiding in a small corner, Ling Qingshu stared blankly at the scene. She had pushed her breath-concealing technique to its absolute limit. As long as she didn't move, nobody would ever detect her, even if they walked past her just 3 meters away. That silly dog actually pulled it off. His intelligence is just too terrifying. By drawing the starry sky sparrow's wrath onto Bing and his crew, who were far weaker than the sparrow, they had no choice but to run for their lives, luring the beast far away from its nest. And since those 5 were the backbone of the Tempest Mercenary Corps, losing them would severely cripple the group's overall strength. A Tier 3 warrior is a big deal in Linjiang City,
So Raymond couldn't possibly abandon Bing and his crew.
he had no choice but to temporarily abandon the Starstone. This meant the Starstone in the Starry Sky Sparrow's nest was now ours for the taking. Watching Raymond and the Starry Sky Sparrow disappear into the distance, I finally expanded my body a bit, grabbed the Starstone, and scrambled down the tree. Not having wings is a real pain. If only I had the wings of the golden-winged Puang, my Taudi form would be absolutely perfect. Though it was a bit of a pity, the innate skills of the divine Taudi were still highly satisfying. Humans shouldn't be too greedy, but as a beast, I definitely need to be a little greedier. Holding the Starstone, I ran back to Ling Qingsu, my face beaming with smug satisfaction.
Now you've witnessed your lord's brilliant mind, haven't you?
Be my woman, and I promise you'll always have meat to eat. Ling Qingsu completely ignored me. She reached out, snatched the Starstone into her storage ring, and immediately dragged me along to run for our lives.
He did indeed get the Starry Sky Stone.
But this is only the first step. Simply bringing the Starry Sky Stone back to Linjiang High School still isn't safe enough.
Not only that, on the surface, my plan was indeed perfect, luring everyone away. But behind every coincidence lies inevitable certainty.
The Thunder Mercenary Group couldn't possibly fail to realize this.
If he remains in this area, he will absolutely draw suspicion onto himself. When that happens, with the Thunder Mercenary Group's dominant power, they definitely won't let him off.
Ling Fingqiu didn't even dare to pause while running for her life. Suddenly, an explosive boom echoed from the sky above.
A man enveloped in thunder wings shot rapidly across the sky.
At the same time, his eyes swept over those fleeing on the ground. That was Lei Yuanbao, a Tier 4 mid-stage powerhouse. And those thunder wings of his were a type of flying weapon.
It used the thunder source inside his body to condense the wings, consuming blood key energy to fly.
Its speed couldn't match the Starry Sky Sparrow, but it was still incredibly fast.
He really did come after all.
And he spotted us.
Ling Qingshu sighed.
Does that mean we're exposed?
I asked. Not yet.
But once Lei Yongbao, Lei Meng, and the others deal with the Starry Sky Sparrow, they'll definitely connect the dots to us.
There's a 60% chance we'll be exposed. Our only safe bet is to get back to Linjiang High School as fast as possible. The 2 of them turned into fleeting shadows, darting through the jungle. At this rate, it will probably take just over 2 hours to run completely out of the Tingwen forest. Flapping the thunder wings on his back,
Lei Wanbo rushed in Lei Meng's direction. Right now, Li Meng was locked in a bitter battle with the Starry Sky Sparrow. The 5 of them were scrambling for their lives in utter panic. Finally, they all dove into the river to wash off the egg residue. Only after washing off the egg yolk did they finally breathe a sigh of relief, without the smell of the egg yolk to guide it. The Starry Sky Sparrow, stop targeting them so relentlessly. We can finally catch our breath.
A Starry Sky feather struck Lei Meng's shoulder, spattering a spray of bright red blood.
Lei Meng's face instantly turned a shade paler. The Starry Sky Sparrow's eggs had been destroyed,
which had completely enraged it.
Right now, its destructive power was terrifying. Even Lei Meng was struggling to hold it back. His expression grew incredibly grim. But catching sight of Lei Anbo rushing toward him from the corner of his eye, a look of pleasant surprise flashed across his face. You mangy birth, my brother is finally here. Let's see you act cocky now. Seeing Lei Wanbo rush to their rescue, Aben and his 5-man crew wept with absolute joy. They scrambled to drag themselves onto the shore, linking pain as they ripped the feathers out of their flesh, clutching their bloody, mangled behinds. Aben's face darkened as he glared at his crew. The others guiltily avoided his gaze. I mean, what are brothers for if not to throw under the bus? It's not like they could just stand there and watch them die, right? Flapping his lightning wings, Lei Anbo was enveloped in a blinding storm of electricity. With a single mountain-shattering strike, he blasted the Starry Sky Sparrow back. Feeling the terrifying, overwhelming pressure radiating from Li Wanba, the Starry Sky Sparrow's survival instincts kicked in, screaming at it to run. It was only a late-stage Tier 3 beast. Against a flying mid-stage Tier 4 warrior, it didn't stand a chance. Now that I'm here, do you really think you can run?
雷元马上意识问口，
As a crackling lightning spear materialized between his palms, with a flick of his wrists, he hurled it forward. This was a low-grade Schwann tier technique, packing a terrifying, destructive force. And moving at blinding speed, once unleashed, it demanded blood. The spear struck the Starry Sky Sparrow dead in the head, instantly vaporizing it into a bloody mist. Its lifeless body plummeted to the ground.
With the beast dealt with.
为选宝城的这儿，赫尔伊的格尔处理梦。
Is this how you lead the Thunder Mercenary Corps? Straight to their deaths?
Li Meng swallowed hard. Brother,
It's all because some scumbag stabbed me in the back.
Otherwise, I would have easily gotten my hands on the Astral Stone.
So you mean to tell me you didn't even get the Astral Stone? The Astral Stone is still in the Sparrow's nest. If we head there right now, it'll definitely still be there. Lei Moore insisted. He hadn't told his brother about the stone earlier because he didn't want to share the prize. The purification potions needed to cleanse beast cores were insanely expensive and required a specialized beast purifying master to brew them. Without a cut of the profits, his hopes of breaking through to a Tier 4 warrior would be practically zero. But now, he had no other choice.
雷元莽烧你们口不？
Before dragging him along toward the Sparrow's nest. But when they finally arrived, the nest was completely empty. All that's left is a smashed bird's egg. Raymond's face went completely pale.
No, that's impossible. The Starstone has to be here.
I saw the Starstone right here 2 weeks ago.
青包是保护入地，
Tell me everything that happened.
Don't leave out a single detail. A freezing chill radiated from Tamba's entire body. If Raymond had only been clear about the Starstone's existence from the start, he could have secured it with absolute ease. Why on earth did they have to go through all this trouble? Now his men are injured. The prize has been stolen. What an ungrateful, useless dog. At the same time, a fleeting image of Ling Qingshu flashed through his mind. The girl he had caught a brief glimpse of on his way here. She had carried a faint, lingering trace of the Starstone's power. Even with her breath-concealing technique, she couldn't completely shield it from his senses. In just a split second, he connected all the dots. Interesting. A mere first-stage martial artist actually dared to steal a treasure from my Thunder Mercenary group. Hearing this, Raymond's eyes went wide. His face was filled with pure shock. Brother, are you saying the person who snatched our Starstone is just a first-stage martial artist? How could a first-stage weakling ever bypass my senses and slip past Abin and the others to climb into the Star Sparrow's nest? It made absolutely no sense. Tamba unleashed his thunder wings once more. He shot a sharp glare at Raymond.
Assemble all our men immediately.
Block off every single exit of the Qingwai Forest. Focus your search on a female student around 18 years old.
She's at the late phase of the first stage.
She has a black beast the size of a lion with her. Also, send to
Thing men to camp out at the gates of Linjiang High School.
Having delivered his orders, he flapped his massive wings and surged into the sky, seeping off in the direction Ling Qingshu had gone. Raymond hurriedly pulled out his phone and scribbled to contact the rest of their crew.
Lock down every single exit of the Qingwang Forest now.
We are hunting a late first-stage female student from Linjiang University with a black beast.
And send 2 guys to watch the gates of Linjiang High School.
What? She already left the Qingwen Forest 10 minutes ago? Raymond's hand began to tremble violently as he clutched his phone. His face drained of all color in an instant. His eyes were filled with sheer, utter disbelief.
How is this even possible?
It takes at least 3 to 4 hours to get from here to the exit of Qingyuan Forest. She's only at the late stage of Tier 1. No matter how fast she is, there's no way she could cover that distance at her level.
Her fight with the Starry Finch lasted at most a little over an hour.
And it was only about an hour after Lei Tenba arrived. Added together, it hasn't even been 2.5 hours. How could a Tier 1 late-stage high school girl possibly run all the way out of Qinyuan Forest?
Mimmo roared in fury. His eye is completely bloodshot. Even if you manage to run back to Linjiang High School, I will still hunt you down and kill you. I dashed frantically along the streets, my body still the size of a massive lion. I was completely drenched in sweat.
Unleashing such an explosive burst of speed for so long was an immense strain, even for me. If I hadn't evolved into a gluttonous beast, and my greed skill hadn't granted me pain immunity and incredible endurance,
There's no way I could have held out for this long. You can stop now. We're finally back in the residential area.
let me take over from here.
With my martial arts and spirit arrays, I won't be slow either.
明庆出现，
I'm already dead tired. With that, I shrank back to the size of a cat and flopped onto his shoulder.
Lil Seuss did her absolute best.
So you're not allowed to say I'm useless.
Morsting at full speed for nearly 3 hours.
That is more than amazing.
He flashed a warm smile.
You're the absolute best. He circulated his blood qi and dashed frantically toward Linjiang High School.
The reason Ling Shansha believed they would be safe once they reached Linjiang High School was her absolute trust in the school's principal.
Simple Liu Qushan of Linjiang High School was the second fifth-stage martial artist in the city, second only to the city lord.
On top of that, he was also a fourth-stage divine master,
Dukyusan deeply valued talented students, was incredibly just,
and personally dedicated himself to nurturing his students.
as long as they could make it back to Linjiang High School.
一代雷清宝勿能代尔分柳青山。
They would finally be safe.
Suddenly, a terrifying bolt of lightning crackled and exploded.
It was only inches away from Lin Qingshu. Fortunately, he did everything he could to dodge it just in time, but the residual shock of the lightning still caught him.
A sudden, paralyzing numbness washed over his legs.
Lin Qingshu let out a heavy sigh.
Her face turned pale and uneasy.
They caught up after all,
Lei Tandang possessed a flying weapon.
and with his lightning-based cultivation, his speed was already incredibly fast to begin with.
Relying on luck was bound to end in disaster.
Little girl, the treasures of my Thunder Mercenary group aren't that easy to steal. Headed over, and out of respect for Principal Liu, I might just spare your life.
雷天宝 said coldly. 林清修必取了。
I have no idea what you're talking about.
She admitted to it.
Lin Qingbang will be even less likely to let them go.
He claimed he would spare their lives out of respect for Liu Qingshan, but within 3 days,
We would be quietly assassinated by the Thunder Mercenary Group. Anyone who knew Lei Tianbao's true nature knew exactly what kind of ruthless man he was.
Lei Ambo sneered,
A cold, murderous glint in his eyes.
"Don't understand? Then I'll just take it myself."
A massive surge of electric arcs erupted from his palm, condensing into a terrifying ball of lightning that hurled straight toward Lin Qingsha. At that critical moment, a figure suddenly flashed forward, shielding them from the devastating blow.
As the blinding electric light faded,
阳江有案4个，我是未必。
He stared coldly at Lei Tianbao.
exuding a chilling, murderous aura.
为秦道，对于还为你 idea。
Fighting is strictly forbidden within the city limits.
And murder is absolutely out of the question.
Are you looking for a death wish?
At this, Li Tingbao's face instantly darkened. Zhang Yongwen was the Grand Commander of the City Lord's mansion.
His strength had reached the late stage of Tier 4, making him even stronger than Lei Tianbao.
And sheer power was only one of the reasons he feared Zhang Yongwan. More importantly, Zhang Gangwen was the right-hand man of City Lord Zhao Tanlan. To make an enemy of him was to defy the City Lord himself.
If things came to that,
His Thunder Mercenary Group would never survive in Linjiang City again.
Commander Zhang, this student stole a treasure from my Thunder Mercenary Group. I am simply taking it back.
Zhang Yuwen frowned slightly, glancing at Ling Xingsu.
Then his face softened into a warm smile. Miss Lin, you can head back to school first.
I'll handle Lei Tianbao for you.
Thank you, Commander Zhang.
Ling Xingshu said, offering her gratitude. Then she hurried back toward Linjiang High School.
Seeing this, Lei Tianbao was absolutely furious.
杨将军，我请屯比的葛农人，群定恒来太会拿头。
Even though he had a perfectly valid reason, Zhang Jingyuan was still openly protecting Ling Qingsha. Commander Zhang, don't you think you're crossing the line here?
Zhang Yuan sneered. This commander acts on the direct orders of the City Lord to maintain order within Linjiang City.
And besides, Miss Lin saved my young mistress's life. How dare you even think of laying a finger on her?
Furthermore, she is merely a Tier 1 late-stage warrior.
How could she possibly steal a treasure from you? A Tier 4 mid-stage warrior. Are you insulting my intelligence?
Li Tingnambo's face turned livid with rage.
His chest heaving with uncontrolled anger. Commander Zhang, I have never done anything to offend you. I've always backed down whenever possible. But are you seriously going to humiliate me like this?
By now, Lei Tenbao's voice was freezing cold, with a murderous glint flashing in his eyes. In the face of this tense, explosive atmosphere,
将教员们的四款审问口吐。So what? I am humiliating you.
What are you going to do about it? I'll give you 3 seconds to get lost. Otherwise, I'll bring my men and wipe out your entire Thunder Mercenary Group.
What a joke!
He commands 5,000 guards of the City Lord's mansion,
With nearly 100 Tier 3 warriors under his command,
and the backing of the City Lord himself, a Tier 5 warrior.
in this Linjiang City, who would dare not show him respect? Li Qianbao ground his teeth so hard they nearly shattered, his eyes completely bloodshot.
Fine, Zhang Zhengwen, you've got guts.
I'll back down this time. Leaving those resentful words behind, he turned and stormed off in anger.
Whew, that was a close call. I almost bit to dust. Thank goodness I chose to save Zhao Xin earlier.
Clinging to Ling Qingshu's shoulder, I felt incredibly relieved.
The protagonist halo really is powerful.
There's always some supporting character stepping in to take the bullet for the lead. Lingyang High School is right ahead.
Once we're inside, we'll finally be safe.
Ling Qingshu didn't let her guard down for a single second.
Her eyes constantly scanned every face at the entrance of Linjiang High School.
The moment she locked eyes with a member of the Thunder Mercenary Group, she instantly quickened her pace.
She had already guessed that with Lei Tianba's ruthless nature, he would never let her off so easily.
Cornering her right at the school gate was the simplest move. There was no way he would pass up such a perfect opportunity.
The presence of those two men was incredibly powerful. They were at least late-stage, second-tier martial artists, with strength that far exceeded her own.
The man blurred into an afterimage, instantly blocking Lin Qingshu's path.
His face was cold and devoid of any warmth.
Hey, classmate, I'd suggest you come with us quietly.
Otherwise, don't blame our Thunder Mercenary Group for not playing nice.
Lin Qingshu glared at him with icy defiance.
This is Linjiang High School.
Aren't you afraid our principal will crush you to pieces?
Li Hu let out a mocking sneer.
Principal Liu is indeed powerful, but we haven't laid a finger on you.
We're just stopping someone for a quick chat. Surely, you wouldn't bother with such a trivial matter, would he? The air instantly turned freezing cold as the standoff intensified.
Neither side showed any sign of backing down.
The students entering and leaving Linjiang High School quickly noticed the commotion. A few students who had been laughing and chatting stopped dead in their tracks, peering over curiously. Wait, isn't that Lin Qingsu?
A tall, thin boy was the first to recognize her.
His voice dripping with a mix of mockery and amusement. It really is her.
Why on earth is she blocked by the Thunder Mercenary Group?
Zhou crossed his arms. A malicious smirk plastered on his face.
Maybe she went and pissed off the wrong people. Look at her usual arrogant Ice Queen act, looking down on everyone.
She probably ran her mouth outside and crossed some big shot from the Thunder Mercenary Group.
He spoke just loud enough for everyone around to hear. Despite the whispers circulating around her, Ling Qingshu acted as if she were completely deaf to them.
She kept her icy gaze locked onto the mercenary blocking her path.
Just then, 2 or 3 more people stepped out from the crowd.
Their power levels were all at late stage first tier, or even at the very peak. These individuals were the elite of this year's class at Linjiang High School.
巨越人生，得套速进的开三。
A tier 1 peak body cultivator. He is currently the strongest cultivator at Linjiang High. Then there is Yao Qiyu, the top student of class 2.
A late-stage tier 1 spiritualist.
Known as the most talented spiritualist in Lijiang High. Next is Li Liang, the top student of class 3. A late-stage tier 1 body cultivator. He is also the guy I stole the giant spirit herb from. He wanted to use that herb to break through to the peak of tier 1. But too bad. His plans went down the drain.
You all know how the Thunder Mercenary Group operates. Lei Tianbang is a highly vindictive bastard.
They are openly blocking people right at our school gates.
This is definitely not a simple matter.
Li Lian said flatly. Yachu looked up toward the front.
Exactly. Half a month ago, the Black Peak Squad outside the city just had a minor dispute with them over some prey.
The very next day, their entire squad was found with broken limbs, dumped right at the entrance of the supply outpost. To this day, no one has figured out who did it, but it is not hard to guess who is behind it.
His words instantly made the students nearby, who were still laughing a moment ago, freeze in terror. They instinctively took half a step back.
Maybe we should help out?
Ji Yuanqing looked at the other two.
Since when did you become such a champion of justice?
I have always been a righteous guy.
With that, he ignored the others and walked straight toward Lin Qingshu.
春原生鼓气道，而偏似的家想来无且美。
His face was cold as ice. Causing trouble at Linjiang High?
Even Lei Wenbao wouldn't have the guts you do.
Li He turned around, looking at him with a bizarre expression. He stared at Chu Yansheng in sheer disbelief.
A tier 1 peak brat acting even cockier than him?
Do you even know who the hell I am?
Jie Drang raised an eyebrow
and slapped him right across the face.
Then do you fucking know?
Who the hell I am? Li Hu was completely dazed by the slap.
For a second, he couldn't even believe it.
Then, sheer fury consumed him. The terrifying vital energy inside his body began to surge,
and he raised his hand, determined to slaughter Chu Yuansheng.
But the moment he lifted his arm,
an overwhelming pressure crushed him to the ground, leaving him unable to move an inch.
An old man in a plain martial arts robe slowly walked out of Linjiang High.
He slowly opened his hand, manifesting a massive hand of energy to horse Li Hu into the air. Go tell Lei Tianbao, he can't touch my student.
Otherwise, I'll pay him a personal visit and send him to his grave. Scared out of his wits, Li Hu nodded frantically. The next second, Lu Qingshan casually tossed him aside like trash.
Seeing this, his partner scrambled to his feet and bolted.
Grandpa, what took you so long?
Chu Yuansheng complained, sounding a bit annoyed.
At school, you call me principal. Now get back to your training, right now.
You must break through and become a tier 2 martial artist within a month.
Defeated, Chu Yuansheng slunk away.
He had originally wanted to show off in front of Lin Qingshu.
That was his only weakness.
He couldn't stand to see a pretty girl suffer. But since his own power was so weak, he had no choice but to call his grandfather to bail him out. Wait,
You're the principal's grandson? Why the hell didn't you say so earlier?
And why on earth would I tell you?
Under the weight of Yu Qingshan's overwhelming aura,
The surrounding students quickly dispersed. Thank you for stepping in, Principal,
Ling Xing said gratefully. Liu Qingsan's eyes narrowed slightly.
Sizing her up with a hint of curiosity. Come to my office. I have a few things I'd like to discuss with you in private.
Ling Qingshu nodded.
And followed him inside.
you're a pretty bold little girl, aren't you? You must have snatched something right from under the noses of the Thunder Mercenary Group back in the Qingyuan forest.
Yes, Lin Qingshu replied, having no intention of hiding the truth.
She knew she couldn't fool Li Qingsan anyway.
They both knew it. Besides, she still needed the protection of Linjiang High School,
So lying to him would only work against her. Admitting it openly was the smart play. The level of talent she possessed, Liu Qingshan would undoubtedly protect her. Not to mention, she still had a card up her sleeve, a favor owed to her by the city lord's mansion. Hearing her,
Yu Qingshan was slightly taken aback.
but a small smile quickly crept onto his face. I don't care what you took from them. That's your own achievement.
as long as you're inside this school, I will keep you safe.
But once you step outside those gates, you're on your own. Make sure you understand that.
I understand. I won't leave the school campus unless I absolutely have to. Liu Qingshan stroked his beard thoughtfully.
If I recall correctly, Class 10 has never had a late-stage student before. Keep up the hard work. If you can secure a spot in the top 5 during the mock toint exam, the day after tomorrow, I will personally take care of that late Tenbao issue for you.
Ling Qingshu quickly smiled and said, "Thank you, Principal."
I won't let you down.
Back at Linjiang High School,
Thinking Wushu finally let her guard down and relaxed.
As she stepped out of Yu Qingshan's office,
Jiao Ying is already waiting right outside the doors for two.
classmate Lin, did late Tenbao hold you?
No, I'm fine. Thank you for your concern, Miss Zhao.
Jia Xing smiled warmly.
Just call me Jiaxin.
And I'll call you Qingsu.
Do you need me to use the power of the City Lord's mansion to deal with Lai Tianbao for you? With his temper, he's definitely not going to let this go.
The principal has already promised to handle Li Tianbao for me.
so there's no need to trouble the city lord's mansion.
All right then.
Jiang Xing nodded, then took out a wooden box.
And several small jade bottles.
She handed them over to Lin Qingshu. These are the spiritual herbs I promised you, Qingxiu. And I also prepared a few bottles of grade 1 blood 2 pills for you. I hope they help you break through to the tier 1 peak as soon as possible.
魏廷树给掌心了入苦
And accepted the gifts.
On top of that, my father has agreed to let you enter the City Lord Mansion's low-level secret realm. The realm will open next month.
Will that work with your schedule, Qingshu?
Thank you. That works perfectly for me.
Great. I'll send someone to pick you up when the time comes. That way, we can train together.
I've actually been into that secret realm a few times before.
Zhao Xin added with a smile.
After saying goodbye to Jia Xin,
Ling Qingshu headed back toward her dorm. She knew exactly why Zhao Xin was trying so hard to get on her good side. Anyone who could get into the country's top 35 martial arts universities was guaranteed to become at least a tier 5 martial artist in the future. And with the raw talent Lin Qingshu had shown, she had a very high chance of reaching tier 6, or even tier 7.
to Jia Xing, she was an incredibly high-value investment.
Even if the investment fell through, at worst, they'll just lose a few resources. For the City Lord's mansion, those resources are as light as a feather. But Lin Qingshu desperately needs resources right now.
She must use every single resource she can get to boost her strength. Only the national martial exam in 4 months will require her to be fully prepared. Her goal has long been set on Beiming Martial Arts University.
Beiming is one of the top 3 martial arts universities in the country.
And it has an abundance of resources.
More importantly, a very close friend from her past life, Bai Mingyan, is there.
Let me see what you were really like during your university days.
Just as she was lost in her memories,
Zhou Ran stepped in and blocked her path.
a sneer plastered across his face. You really lucked out, Lin Qingshu. But the principal can only protect you inside the school. Are you planning to hide in here for the rest of your life?
My business is none of your concern.
Jiang Wen's face instantly darkened.
Who do you think you are? Putting on an act.
You've offended the Thunder Mercenary Group. Just wait to die.
With a sudden, swift slap, sending him flying instantly.
I jumped down from Lin Qingshu's shoulder, my body rapidly expanding, growing into the size of a fierce tiger. My aura surged, rivaling a tier 2 early-stage beast. Clutching a swollen face, Zhang Yuan scrambled to his feet. He wanted to strike back, but the sight of me utterly terrified him. His eyes nearly popped out of his skull, and his legs shook uncontrollably. Even the armored mantis at his feet bolted, vanishing in the blink of an eye, completely abandoning its master. I let out a fierce roar and walked right past him with Lin Qingshu.
Slumped on the ground. Zhang Wan's body trembled violently.
Unable to snap out of his shock for a long time.
This is impossible.
That egg was just a common beast egg. How could it possibly reach this level in such a short time?
It has to be fake. It's a trick. The beast egg I reincarnated into was just something she picked up from a wild dog's den outside the city.
It was just a completely ordinary run-of-the-mill beast egg.
And its life signature was incredibly weak.
It probably didn't even have a proper bloodline. There is no way it could have grown to this level. He scrambled up from the ground, his eyes burning with pure hatred.
That bitch. Just wait until the mock exam. I'm going to teach her a lesson she'll never forget.
He couldn't stand people like Ling Qingshu. Completely talentless, yet always acting so high and mighty.
Crushing her was the only thing that gave him a sick sense of superiority.
Besides, in the secret realm, people die all the time.
Zhong let out a cold snort.
And turned to take his anger out on his cowardly armored mantis.
Back in the dorm,
Ling Tingshu and I collapsed limply onto the bed.
we'd run more today than we had in the last 5 days combined.
And we almost died so many times. The bitter reality of being weak was starting to set in.
I scratched my head in frustration, cursing that bastard Lei Chunba in my mind. Just wait until my stats go up. I am absolutely going to slaughter him.
But even as I said it, I felt a pang of doubt.
Shit. We can't even escape Linjiang High right now.
And my talent requires devouring massive amounts of resources. Beast cores, ores, and spiritual herbs. If this keeps up, how are we ever going to get our revenge?
Ling Qingsu let out a heavy sigh.
Her question turning calm once more. Revenge isn't our priority right now. Our only goal is to get stronger.
So, we're just going to let it go?
Of course we'll get our revenge.